to let a few does walk, but if that freezer runs low, I gotta stock it. These scrub bucks got no mask, darn sure no drop times, but this chili has deer burger in it tonight.
Where did this podcast go? Straight to hell. Yeah, speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
We keep it real on East Coast. First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool. Full bore hunt. You live it. You breathe it.
It's a whole different world.
Just East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind. It's a fantastic thing.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Well, number one is you guys like beer.
I want to feel like I'm hanging with the boys.
You're the guys that showed up.
But I actually saw Jesus. The point where it is now, where it's insane.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Just want to get the realest people possible in the industry. You just got to piss people off. You're not doing it right.
Nothing forced. All fucking natural.
Oh, hey there. What's up, man? Didn't know y'all were listening. Step on in, have a seat, crack a beer. Let's talk deer. I'm your boy D-Rock here with Trev,
Ryan, Boneyard,
and on the line we got
Modern Assassin.
Whoop Whoop. And we're here at Slayer headquarters in Moodus, Connecticut, hiding in the mountains of God's heaven. Today's episode is brought to you by Shabine Brewing, the Hunter's Beer, Trev's Euros for all your Euromount needs, 100 Demons, East Coast hardcore music, Encore Targets, soothing and self-healing, Meyer trail cameras, who's on your hit list, Outright Hunting products, the Morph Pro, the last bow hanger you'll ever buy, Death Wish Coffee, fueled by death. Use promo code East Coast 10. Ethics Archery, it's like steroids for your arrows. Use promo code East Coast 10. Tree Thrasher, imitate the wild. Use promo code East Coast 15. Nor'easter Game Calls, get them in close. Wild Edge Inc., the leader in mobile hunting. This show is presented by Working Class Bowhunter. Not just podcast, but the brand in the hunting industry. East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is here as always for new and old hunters by sharing our experiences in the woods through playing and slaying. What's up?
What's up, D-Rock?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
What up,
What's
Boneyard?
happening, Slayers?
What's up, Slayer from Maryland?
We got the main.
Oh, same old shit, man.
Hell yeah. So, we got G on the line, Garrett Benner, the Modern Assassin. I got Boneyard to my right, Trev to my middle, and Ryan the Pornstar to my left. So let's cut right into it.
Welcome back, my fellow savages. It's been a while since you've heard from any news from Ryan the Pornstar, but trade show season is just about over and we'll be getting back to your normal scheduled programming. I would like to start this segment by honoring Todd Prignitz from White Knuckle Productions and Tree Thrasher. For those of you that don't know, Todd recently passed away from a tragic ATV accident, leaving behind his wife and baby boy. At the Iowa Deer Classic, we had the opportunity to talk with Jason Science, also from White Knuckle Productions. Now, although none of us from East Coast Bowhunting ever had the pleasure of meeting Todd, Jason printed the perfect picture of Todd Prignitz to where we felt like we really knew him, right, guys?
Yeah, I could say. Actually, I had the pleasure of meeting him, but...
You did? Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Excellent.
He was there at Harrisburg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So at this time, I would like to take a moment of silence in Todd's memory. Thank you, everyone. Rest easy, Todd.
Cheers, too.
Amen.
Amen. So now let's go ahead and switch gears here. As hunters and outdoorsmen and women, we're always in the woods. And like many of you, I like to take my lab out, not only to hunt waterfowl and upland birds, but of course for hiking, shed hunting, and just being out in the woods, getting them some exercise and keeping them in shape. But having an animal in the woods with you brings another challenge, predators. And of course, awareness, having that animal with you and the predators that might be out there trying to get them. So there was a video posted on the Sportsman's Alliance Facebook page of a dog that happened to be wearing a GoPro camera, got away from its owner during a moose hunt, and was actually attacked by a wolf, all on camera. Now, of course, we don't have wolves around here, and I'm sure a lot of you listen to this going, there's no freaking wolves around here. But we got them, we got other predators out there. Excuse me. We need to be prepared, we need to be aware, and we need to do something about it if we're out there. So always make sure you're on your game, especially if you have another animal with you. This story did take place in Sweden, and miraculously, if you watch the video, the dog did survive. But, man, that video was gnarly. So if any of you do want to see it, you can find it all over the internet. You can search it. But it's a bit of a gnarly video for sure.
I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. It is pretty intense.
It is for sure.
Yeah, if you love hunting with dogs, just keep a tight leash on your dogs or know exactly where they're heading at, because that specific hunter had his dog run off and kind of found out the hard way what happened to him.
Right. I mean, if he didn't have that GoPro on him, that dog came back full of blood. He would have had no idea. So that GoPro was on him. He got it all caught on footage, firsthand footage. So let's go ahead. Now we're going to talk where you can find your East Coast bow hunting boys this weekend. So nor'easter game calls are coming in hot this weekend. Trev and I are shipping up to Orono, Maine for the Eastern Maine Sportsman Show to help out Mark at the nor'easter booth. So any of you listeners from the Northeast, take the haul, come visit us, East Coast Bow Hunting, and of course nor'easter game calls at the show, and get your hands on some one-of-a-kind, custom, handmade, one-by-one turkey, deer, duck, owls, anything you can think of. They're all going to be there. And not to forget about the beautiful custom handmade knives that Mark also makes. So those are some incredible stuff just in itself. For you Midwest followers, you can go ahead and catch D-Rock and Garrett, the Modern Assassin, at the Ohio Deer Classic, with the working class bow hunting crew once again repping the East Coast in the Midwest. So they're taking a pretty good haul. How far is that, D-Rock?
We're probably looking, 10 hours, G?
12. From my place, more like 6. And it's the Ohio Deer and Turkey Expo.
Oh, word. So, yeah, like 10 hours total.
10 hours, that's nothing compared to the 18, huh?
Yeah. Right. I'll look forward to it for sure.
So for
18 hours, 5 dudes in one truck.
Without fart sucker seats.
Shout out to Scent Crusher.
And shout out to Scranton, because it will be driven and powered by Scranton.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So for all of our listeners looking to do something this weekend, we are covering a lot of ground. Come find us somewhere, Northeast, Midwest, wherever you guys are at. Come find us. And that is your Whitetail News, brought to you by Ryan the Pornstar. And as always, D-Rock,
send them your nudes. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, whoa.
Send them your news, I think. News, right? Not nudes.
News. Send your news. I don't want your nudes. Send your news.
I'll just send a little bit of both and you sort through it.
Appreciate that, G.
No. But for real, guys, before we get away from the deer news, I wanted to bring something up. Ryan, you brought up last week about the CWD and
yes, sir,
it being discovered that it is actually a bacteria, the spirulina, and the prion is just an effect of the bacteria.
Yep.
People that don't really know much about CWD do not understand how huge this is.
They're just not using condoms in the woods.
Bodily fluids.
The thing is not, your Deer News episode of this last week, it prompted me to do some of my own research, and I hope it did others as well. But, if we could end CWD, this transfers way further than just the deer herd, because this spirulina bacteria is also linked to some human neurological disorders. And they believe about 20 to 25% of Alzheimer's patients don't actually have Alzheimer's, but they have this same type of bacteria. So the fact that, like I said, you bringing this up on Deer News, it made me want to research even further. And this could be the biggest thing to happen for the whitetail herd in North America, and but also for humans.
There's no doubt about it.
It's pretty phenomenal.
Absolutely.
You are one researching motherfucker.
Man, I can't help it. My brain don't ever stop, and I can't sit in a tree and try to kill things right now, so I got to do something.
Exactly, and sleep ain't one of them. Word, G?
Sleep comes rare.
Yeah. I always say we need 36 hours in this 24-hour day.
No doubt.
24 ain't enough.
Amen to that.
That Shabin is good.
Yeah, we got to talk about that, too. I feel a little weird, fellas. I'm sitting here. I got a Heavy Seas in my hand, which is a local Baltimore brewery, and it's good beer, but I don't have a Shabin, and I feel a little funny about it. It's almost like, you and your buddy have that one hunting spot you always go to together. And this time you're going by yourself. It's like, it's all going to be okay, but you feel a little weird about it, It's kind of how I feel right now without a Shabin in my hand.
Well put.
I think you drank enough Shabins in Iowa.
Oh, dude.
I will not dispute that.
I think we all did. I'm not trying to single you out or anything, but I'm just saying is that we definitely drank our fair share of shebeens.
I won't argue that one.
I'm glad you bring that up, Trev. I want to go around the room and the phone line. Gee, it feels like you're here, so that's what counts, man. We'll drink a few shebeens for you.
Yeah.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers, brother. Cheers. Hell yeah.
Good shit. So let's go around the room, man. Now that Trev brings it up, is the Iowa recap. Boneyard, what are your thoughts? Like, set aside your mission while you were there, but just the deer camp aspect of it.
I'm just glad I'm not sitting on that side of you right now.
Sometimes it's easier to be the first because you don't get your idea stolen.
True.
Every time Garrett goes before you, I'm like, God damn it.
So setting aside the show, just the trip and meeting the boys and the Airbnb, like, what do you take away from it, man?
It's just kind of like the Midwest in general. It's everyone's like open arms. You know, I remember driving to Saskatchewan with my buddies, and I have family that's all in the Midwest, and anytime you get like through Pennsylvania into like the Midwest, it's just like fucking A. You walk into a gas station and 4 people that work there pick their heads up and say, "Hey, honey, how you doing?" It's like, you know, we're from the East Coast. We look at them like, "What?
You talking to me?"
Yeah, what I do?
Yep.
But no, it's just open arms. I mean, everyone out there just meeting people at the show and the working class crew, and it's just like we clicked, you know, and getting to spend time in the truck. The 5 of us, sweaty, nasty dudes. It was just cool, man. It was just good to spend time with each other. And, like, any time that, you know, we're all together, the 4 of us a lot. But when we get to spend time with Garrett and all the other guys, it's really cool to, you know, just connect. And
shout out to Scent Crusher Gomax.
Hell yeah.
Came in clutch for that trip.
I wasn't quite
For
a believer
real.
before that. You guys plugged that thing in. And I was like, God damn. This thing works.
Man. It got rid of more than just the fart sense.
Hell yeah.
You know?
It's science, bro.
It is science. It is
But
science.
yeah, no, all in all, it was an awesome time. Just, I felt like I was at home the whole time. Just, you come out there and it's just like open arms, everybody. It was really cool.
Hell yeah. Trev, what do you got, man?
I don't know, dude. It was just a life-changing event for myself. I mean, just going out there, it was the farthest west that I've ever been. And like I was talking with a friend of mine today on the phone, and just shabeen, and just like driving down the road, and all the whitetails are just everywhere, and the life, and the hawks, and the booners.
Oh my god! Yeah. Yo, why don't Trev, Trev? Why don't you touch on that a little bit?
So like we
with
had
a Mexican driving like a maniac down the highway.
So scary.
Yeah, it was definitely
not as scary as the way back, Boneyard.
Oh, I was driving like the Mexican.
Boneyard's beeping and flashing his lights.
I was pissed.
Yeah, Trev, enlighten us with that. The booners and the hawks.
So we had a code word. If we saw a big shed or a dead head or a dead deer, it was booner. And we had to try and figure out how to get across 3 lanes. So we'd always joke and be like, booner! and then as we started getting more south, these fucking hawks were just everywhere. And
Crazy.
I know. And
Trev, we were going west.
Yeah, whatever. To me, it didn't really matter. We
That's
were
why
in the
Trev
truck.
wasn't driving. Exactly. Man, this John Dever's full of shit.
He was drooling out the window. Fucking window licking motherfucker.
Yeah, you're the one that ended up in fucking Michigan, so don't even start with me, bro. So, but no, and then we got all these hawks and stuff, and D-Rock was like, oh, there's a hawk, and nobody really gave a fuck about the hawks, and then we started to really give a fuck about the hawks.
Well, no, I give a fuck because I was in the passenger seat, and you say hawk, and the truck would go from the right lane to the left without fucking a blinker, and we'd be fucking looking at a hawk.
Hey, I like to look with my hands.
Fuck! Like, oh, fuck. We're dying.
Yeah. So it was definitely an entertaining thing, and it was just awesome to see all the wildlife and all the deer, especially driving home and stuff. It was just a life-changing event for me. I mean, you hear about it, you read about it. That's what you learn whitetail hunting about is the Midwest, and I never seen the Midwest, and it was an amazing experience. I mean, I'm still in cloud 9.
There's a 150 dead on every exit.
Yeah, behind every tree. I swear I looked at behind every fucking tree, and there was no 150s. I could yet to find one.
Oh, they were there.
You couldn't trip into one, huh?
But it was just an amazing time. Just the camaraderie, all the boys. It was so much fun, and we had so many laughs, and it was just I'm still in cloud 9 about the whole situation.
And with as much shebeen as we had packed, we did not even have not one through the whole trip. That's what they make other things for. So, Ryan, what do you got?
Well, we didn't have any left for the way back, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll touch on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm kind of going to touch a little bit on what Trev and Boneyard both said. I mean, again, like Trev said, life-changing experience, I think, not just for us, but for everyone here. Everyone on the phone right now, just a life-changing experience. And like Drew was saying, everyone just open arms. You know, we had almost 15 guys sleeping in this freaking Airbnb and almost 100 shebeens. There wasn't a single issue with that much testosterone and that much booze going through it. There was no issues. Everyone was just, it was like we've been friends for years. So we can't say enough about the working class boys. Everyone we met down there. I mean, we met some idols of ours, and you guys will hear in our upcoming episodes. But, you know, it was just, again, a life-changing experience. Like Trev said, I'm still on just a high of life right now. The whole time I just had a big smile on my face.
Well, maybe something else too, but mainly life. Mainly life.
No, definitely high on life. But, you know, so just the amount of just hunting. It was all hunting. You know, around here, we live in a state where there's a lot of big fishing industries, and we go to all of our shows here, and it's mostly fishing. And you go out there, and it's hunting. You know, you get the couple guys selling their leaf gutter products, but everywhere you walk, it's hunting. Big bone. We got our hands on the world record shed antlers. Me and Trev were taking pictures. What were those, Trev? 220 inches or something?
Yeah, 220 and some change.
Oh man, it was incredible. It was incredible. We met a lot of very cool people, and like Trev said, still on cloud nine. Still, I want to go back. I'm texting my girl, and we're heading there. I'm like, why do we live in Connecticut? Can we move out here? You know, so it's just it's been a dream of mine to visit Iowa because that's big deer country, and can't wait to go back next year.
See, I want to kind of piggyback off of that because the reason we live in Connecticut is so we could dream about Iowa.
Yeah, that's right.
If we weren't living in Connecticut, then we wouldn't be able to provide the whole East Coast on the information that they need to hear about East Coast and out Midwest.
Hell yeah.
So, G, what do you got to take away from Iowa?
Not to repeat, but, I mean, it kind of was life-changing, man. Meeting, you know, the working class crew and then just all the connections all the way around. It was awesome. Again, everybody was just humble and chill. Couldn't have really asked more from anyone and we didn't ask anything of anyone, you know, so that was great. But then, you know, to take it back to even more of a personal level, and this is something that didn't necessarily have to happen in Iowa, but it did, so I'm going to bring it up. And that was the time and the situation spent with you guys, you know, all you that I'm on the phone with right now. I've gone solo for a long time, and there's a reason why, and it's because people don't hold up their end of things. You know, you grind and hustle, and they kind of ride the coattails a lot. And the time that I spent with you guys and the work that was put in, I mean, that show was a lot of work for all of us, all the way around. And every single one of us pulled for every single other one of us. And having a crew like that is definitely something I took away from Iowa. So I appreciate everything you guys did for me, and it goes all the way around. You know, we all just came together collective as an East Coast crew and made shit happen, and I'm really thankful for that.
I want to kind of piggyback off of that real quick, because me and Garrett were talking.
Whoa. There's a weight limit to the piggybacks.
They want to start like this. All right. I know where this night's going.
No, go ahead, man.
No, so me and Garrett had the talk before, and how, like, this podcast is, like, one of those platforms that, like, we all share as, like, our home base. This is like our deer camp, man, and this is where we all live as a home, and this is where we go, and we all go on our own trails to hunt and attack the industry in our own ways. And we were talking about that, Garrett. I mean, and it's just one of those things that, like, with what you said, is that this is home for us, and this is our home base, and everybody needs to work together, and we're just building this huge brotherhood with everybody, and we're all going on our own paths and just attacking the industry at different levels.
And I want to thank all you boys for giving me the help. I mean, you guys were hustling for me. Garrett, you were a selling machine, having you in my booth, and all you guys helped me set up, break down. I mean, traveling out there with me. I mean, it it was an awesome time, and I'm so glad to have the help.
Supplying almost everything for you.
Oh yeah, he did give me a nice ass truck.
You did say we were sponsoring you. You're not sponsoring us, right?
Yeah, I kind of see it as that. Yeah,
yeah. Nah, but
no,
you know
I'm just
what?
kidding.
Nah, but it's really cool because I'm glad you bring that up because that's what it's about, man. It's just about helping each other and representing East Coast the way it should be. Not enough people talk about this, and I guess I'll step in on what I take away from Iowa is I had the time of my life bringing the East Coast to the Midwest, opening doors for you boys in the way of the brotherhood. And what I mean by that, it's just a big, big family that we need to have like a coalition or a family going from coast to coast. Kurt and I are definitely working on West Coast. That's a little vague right now because it's hard to find people on our level. And not to sound cliche, but we do keep it real. And
we only recognize two genders, is what you're saying?
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. We recognize two genders. and it's what you got in between your legs and in your heart.
And antlerless.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking deer. But on that same
there
token,
are hermaphrodites though.
The antlered doe, the world record antlered doe.
Yeah, antlered does are out there.
Yeah.
You're right.
Hey, let's let D-Rock finish.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Trev.
So you guys all took these life-changing events, and the life-changing event wasn't me riding the fucking electric bull.
I didn't get to see.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten
a
to
long
that
episode.
But yeah, this is going to be a while. We have plenty of beers to go around.
You know, guys, before we get too sidetracked here, I want to give big props to D-Rock, a.k.a. the Godfather. He definitely took that role and got that nickname, in Iowa. He took care of just about everyone. You know, we all had our nights where he took care of us, whether it was us, a random person. We got the Godfather.
I was the last one to sleep.
And that motherfucker can cook.
And he can cook. He was the camp chef, and he made it all happen. So we appreciate you, D-Rock, and everything you did in Iowa and getting us there as well.
This is the biggest thing is no one ever had to ask for help. It was just like, I'm standing there and there's 50 people, not 50, but there's a lot of dudes asking, what can I do? What can I do? And it's like, man, I never had this much help in my life. This awesome.
That's why I wanted to make that specific point because everyone pulled their weight and more in their own way. We don't all do the same things. We don't all have the same kind of pros and cons or however you want to put it. We each bring something and everybody brought what they needed and the whole crew just helped out with everything, and you don't find that often.
And
it was definitely recognized, so I appreciate, every one of you.
And big shout out to Greg Staggs for coming to the booth.
For sure,
and
Jake,
us
too.
And Jacob,
dedicating
their time to drive 5 hours to help us at our booth. I mean,
exactly.
That was cool.
Yeah, anybody interested, Greg is an awesome writer for Peterson, so, not only if you didn't get to talk to him and get some of his knowledge from him in Iowa, there's still other ways to do it. And I believe it's sometime in June when his publication about saddle hunting will be coming out. So keep an eye out for that.
May or June article will be in Peterson Bowhunting.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of laid down the track for me. I mean, that's what I loved about and what I took away from it. It's something I hold dear that I love taking care of people, and this is something we did an episode at Iowa with P. Vitty, and I swear to God, there's a moment there that, dude, it was an emotional roller coaster the whole
Big
trip.
time.
But that one episode, it seemed like I was looking at myself when I was his age, and what I mean by that, to be clear, is I just want to see all my friends succeed, and that's my mission right here, especially in the hunting industry. And we'll get into detail later on in this episode what I mean exactly by that. But I really want to see all my boys succeed. So this way, a perfect analogy. I think I talked to Garrett about this. Perfect analogy is a football team. I know, guys. Football. Not every hunter watches football, but you know what? In the East Coast, we watch football.
No, we don't. Oh,
I don't.
Well, it's in my blood. I don't know about
my
everyone
blood
else.
as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't want to get into detail with that. What I mean is the analogy is the star and key players are always in the field under the spotlight, doing what needs to be done to get the goals met. But at the end of the Super Bowl, at the end of the season, where's that Gatorade being poured?
On the coach. And that was with
I'm
me.
the Godfather.
conversation was with me.
Yeah, so, yeah.
We'll pour deer guts on you.
Hey, I'll bathe in that blood. Like you'll hear that in the working class episode with Garrett and I there.
Can I get a cooler of Shabin, please?
yeah. You can pour all the Shabin you want all over it.
Cooler of Shabin.
Shabin.
But what I'm getting at is I just really want to see my friends succeed because I know if they're succeeding, I'll meet every one of them at the finish line. And that's the mission and the goal, man, because everyone here is super talented and brings something very different and unique to the table. And it was just timing's everything. And it was just fortunate enough that I got to really push one of our crew ahead of the game. And it's all going to go following into steps. So what I take away is mainly just being Papa D-Rock, the last one to go to sleep, making sure. Nah, I'm too humble. I'm too humble for that.
No. It's Godfather.
You got it.
You can't be that humble. It's Godfather.
I'll be the Podfather.
There you go.
The Podfather.
The Podfather.
It may be official now, D-Rock.
All right, I'll accept that.
Right there.
I'll
It's official.
Hashtag Podfather.
Making sure everyone's tucked in. Stevie Mo out there. Yeah, I did make your bed and got you tucked in, and we had late nights.
Kept Ryan from peeing on a plant.
Yeah.
Thank you to thank you to Garrett and D-Rock for keeping that from happening.
Yeah.
Actually, Garrett, you're a really good storyteller. Can we get into detail on that one? That was really fun. Is that okay, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear it.
You almost crawled in bed with me.
This is good shit because I was the only one that really saw what was going on. It's half the people are passed out. I don't even remember who was still awake. I don't know how I was still awake. But the porn stars over there passed out on the couch, thankfully fully clothed and alone, being the porn star. But still,
ironically,
he's passed out on the couch, and we're all still partying, loud as shit and all. And all of a sudden, he sits up really fast. And just jumps up, and my first thought is, oh, he's going to puke. When you see someone wake up from dead asleep like that, you're like, oh, they're going to puke. Well, he sits up, stands up, and just standing in the middle of the living room starts unzipping his pants. So I'm like, I see why I got the name porn star. But, so I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, he looked up at me and kind of realized, oh, I'm not in the bathroom. And he says, I'm going downstairs to go to the bathroom.
As he's walking
the
into a
steps
plant.
are to his right, and he turns left. And walks right over to the corner where the plants are and proceeds to unzip. And I just couldn't fucking help it. I started laughing so hard. I was like, D-Rock, you got to go help him. I can't. I was just fucking dying. So luckily, the Podfather was there to take care of him and escort him to the bathroom. But yeah,
and then after the bathroom,
almost got some Shabin themselves.
I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. I was dying.
Yeah,
and
well, because of the long drive. Yeah.
I don't think I heard this.
D-Rock
yet.
can finish the story.
I didn't either.
It's funny because I did grab him by the back of the neck, actually, is the best way to guide him.
Well, you didn't want to get peed on, so you had to make sure you had good directional control.
It's like grabbing a dog by the scruff.
Yes. So I'm like, come with me, Ryan. He's like, I'm just trying to go downstairs, go to the bathroom. I'm like, yep, downstairs is right over here. I'll help you. So I guided him in and just turned on the light. I'm like, just make sure you get it in the water. And as he walked out, because I waited out the door not to be creepy about it, but I just wanted to make sure he wasn't puking or nothing like that. And when he came out, he did really well. I even checked
the water.
I even checked the seat to make sure
Wiped
it's not
it clean.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't wipe it, but
Potty training went well.
Yeah. Yep. The pull-ups work, and he stepped out and he goes beeline right into Andrew's room.
Come on, I didn't even hear this part yet.
Yeah, beeline right into Andrew's room and starts like nestling in next to Andrew.
Come
I'm
on.
like, no. I'm like, we have to go this way, back to the couch, back to your bed.
I would have welcomed you, buddy, but
Dude, I didn't even hear this yet. That's awesome.
So I brought you back to your bed and got you tucked in, man. And I mean, it was a good night,
I
though.
appreciate that, Pop Father.
Oh, it was fucking hilarious, but I swear I thought you were going to puke. I mean, you did like the fucking Dracula out of the coffin sit up, just like fucking bing, straight up in the air. I'm like, oh, he's going to hurl.
He kind of did that during the drive there and back. He'd be like sleeping, all of a sudden, boom, you look in the rearview mirror and Ryan's like wide awake.
Yeah.
Well, when I wake up and we're in
What's
fucking
going
Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Big old polite. Excuse me, D-Rock, but I think the
It was all
navigation is
snow covered. It all looked the same.
No, I wake up and all of a sudden I see "Welcome to Michigan" and it's snowing like crazy, and I'm like, "This ain't where we're fucking supposed to be."
That's crazy. Yeah. But, oh, man, so bringing it back, though, not to stay stuck in the moment, so to speak, but everyone here had their own kind of chum and person they related to most, which I thought it was really cool, actually, because everyone here and our East Coast team, they related with someone so well, they kind of stuck by them throughout the nights, the long nights. Like, and I what I'm referring to specifically is Boneyard and Eric. They're exactly the same person. It's actually scary.
Yeah.
They don't say much, but when they do open their mouths, some shit's gonna come out. And you may want to be paying attention.
Yeah. Dipshit.
Dipshit. This is still one of my favorite lines.
No, Eric is good as shit. Yeah, me and him definitely clicked.
And
Good
you know,
fucking dude.
And you know what, boys? We also did get to meet Hoss, Bruce Ritter Clark. I know from Ethics Archery. I know D-Rock's known him a long time, but that was the first time we finally got to meet him. We talked a lot about, bow hunting, Ethics Archery products, what the next step is for us and how we use his equipment. So it was pretty cool having Hoss out there as well. Shout out to you, Hoss. It was a good weekend. Learned a lot from you, and we definitely, talked some deer.
And just stay away from them pet stores.
Yeah, right.
And you know
Don't
what?
ever Uber.
Yeah, not only did we get to meet Hoss, we got Hoss up in a saddle.
Hell
yeah.
On the new
Like,
platform.
On the Perch. We got
367
Hoss in a
pounds.
saddle on the Perch.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's save the good news for that. We'll get back to that.
But you know what? Shout out to the Uber driver.
The Podfather has spoken. Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the Uber driver.
Kick-ass Uber driver. I hope I didn't get her in trouble flagging her down in the middle of the street and saying, fuck your other pickup and disconnecting her phone.
Oh, no.
But she was awesome and took us home.
Oh, you weren't even there for the Uber ride we took with Hoss. I mean, this Uber driver, he heard more than he probably ever wanted to hear in his life. And if you happen to be listening to us right now, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've got some stories to tell of your own after that ride.
I mean, it was
that,
good fucking
That's how
time.
the night went. I forgot we had separate Ubers.
Yeah, and it was just hilarious. He's telling all these stories, and the Uber driver's like, what the fuck? He's like, what is wrong with you hillbillies? He's like, you guys ain't from around here, are you? I said, we ain't close to here.
This will bring something back around, too, talking about our Uber driver. So we had this chick. She was cool as shit. And on the way there, she's like, I think I'm going to start doing, Uber karaoke. And we're like, well, pick us up later when we're drunk, and we'll let you know how it goes, whatever. So we're waiting for an Uber, and literally the app is saying there is no drivers because everyone is busy. And I'm standing there, partially in traffic, trying to get a cab and shit. And I look over, I'm like, hey, that chick looks like her Uber driver. I'm like, oh. And she's driving the same car. And then, it kind of clicked, oh, yeah, it's the same chick. So flagged her down, and she's like, I can't take you guys. I'm sorry. I got someone else to pick up. So I may or may not have just reached in the window and hit the button that closes her Uber app and said, come on, you can take us home.
That was after we offered her $50 in a tip.
Yeah,
that turned into a $100 tip.
This is what I wanted to get to with this, because it brings it back around. Is we're talking about hunting, and she used to be vegetarian. Do you remember all this, Drew?
I do. Yep.
She was talking about she used to be vegetarian, and she started eating meat, and they don't hunt, but they actually pay someone to fill a tag and have a deer processed so they can have deer meat every year. And, this all got brought up because we were leaving the Iowa Classic. And then she asked if any of us had been to Canada. And, Drew, this is where you chimed in and said, yeah, I've been to Canada, but it wasn't for whitetail. What was it for?
That was for waterfowl.
Well, and bear, correct?
Idaho was bear.
Oh, Idaho. Okay.
Yeah.
And you should have seen how quick the mood and the conversation changed.
Yep.
When we're talking about hunting, we're talking about consuming meat, we're talking about us traveling and going to all these shows. And, like I said, she even pays to have an extra tag for someone and for a deer to be harvested for her and her family. Very much into, maybe not into, but aware of the hunting and supporting it. And as soon as bear hunting got brought up, the mood just completely flipped.
Yep.
And she was almost kind of like appalled by it.
Because I mentioned bear and lion, and then it was like conversation done.
Yeah, it's
Bean.
But it's kind of crazy. It's all lack of education that it went down like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we had someone who is not a hunter, whose husband didn't hunt, but was engaged in the hunting enough to at least buy the tag and put some money into conservation, pay the butcher, and feed her family natural organic meat. So it's kind of a weird position of who hunting and organic meat is reaching, but still where the ignorance of hunting and conservation lies and what really needs to be done.
Because clearly she's never eaten bear, mountain lion, because I'm not even saying it because I killed them. I mean, it is absolutely delicious. Like bear meat, I put it up almost on top of venison. It is amazing.
Not up there with sick deer, you mean?
I don't know.
I'm about to say, a bear meat is delicious, especially when they have that watermelon flavor. But
and the watermelon
they are
patches.
the best, but I tell you, they just seem to make you even hungrier.
That Sika, that was the second time I had it was in Iowa. First time was down at your cabin in Maryland, and man, every time it's just as good.
Yeah, and it was cooked completely different. My brother's like a master chef. D-Rock, you did awesome with the cooking too, but you also had like 3 other meals going on with I mean, we ate like kings out there.
Yo,
yeah.
Was that crazy though? That kitchen was set up perfect for me, man.
Dude,
fire.
as soon as you said you were bringing some good shit, I'm like, man, I got to bring some good shit too. We got to show the working class boys some of our East Coast love.
Lobster rolls, the crab cakes, Sika,
everything.
Yeah, it was awesome, and we had I think rule number 1 of the Airbnb was no parties, and we didn't have a party. We just had like 30 people getting drunk and loud and eating food.
Eating a lot of good food.
It really wasn't a party. It was like a feast.
Yeah.
It was so banging. You killed it on the cooking there for real.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, you brought the scallops, but
I forgot about
I
those.
added the
Yeah, and the
jalapenos
crab
in
cakes.
there. Oof.
Yeah, I think the crab cakes and the lobster rolls you made were the biggest hits.
It was kind of
and I mean, that's the most East Coast you get too,
It was kind of funny though, like we're almost, we take it for granted. We eat scallops and clams and oysters and lobster, crab, you name it. It's just right there for us. You go out to the Midwest, we brought that out there, and they're like looking at scallops, like, where do these come from? And then like a lobster roll. Oh my god, how many guys said they'd never had a lobster roll?
Exactly. I was going to say that. Yeah.
Like you grow up. I probably had my first lobster roll
They were
when I could
asking how
had
to
teeth.
eat it. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you mean how to eat it? Just eat the
Pop it in your mouth.
Fucking chew it.
But they never had it, and we take that for granted. I mean,
Yeah.
the fresh seafood that we get, just the
I
fresh
brought that marinated
clams,
striper,
the
too.
striper.
And
I
we
mean, there's
actually
so many
get it
things.
ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all harvested too.
It's like them harvesting like squash. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like
Squash.
It's like them harvesting 150s.
Yeah.
Cheers to Trev's squash statement.
We can get a lobster like they can get a 150.
That's it. That's it. It's under every rock.
Dozen at a time.
And you know what? The second night was actually really cool because we were blessed by even more souls with shout out to Gino and Patrick from Heroes Hunting.
Heroes Hunting, yeah.
Actually, his buddy came too. I feel like an idiot. Like a shipped idiot. A ship idiot. What is it?
A dipshit idiot.
Yeah,
Get it
dipshit
together.
Yeah, dipshit idiot. I can't remember Patrick's friend. I don't know, but he was cool peeps too, and Austin Chandler and his buddies came
Cody
out.
swung
Ross
by.
Baker.
Yep,
Cody
yeah,
Twisto came through.
yeah, Cody swung by. He had a nice buzz going, and he's like, "Damn," he's like, "D-Rock, I didn't know you were a chef like that." I'm like, The Podfather, I guess, right?
The Podfather.
The man that wears many ponytails.
Yeah. It was cool just to see everyone and just everyone getting along, man. And who said it best, Ryan? That much Shebeen beer going around and Mother's Milk, Bush Light and amongst other things with a ton of food, and it's just everyone getting along, man. And let's paint the picture right, though. Let's paint the picture perfect, right? Yeah. Is we had women there too, so
right.
Shout out to Sam. Yeah, she's glowing. I'm so happy for her and Kurt. They're about to,
cheers to them.
Yeah, for sure. Cheers to them. And
cheers to the next Lady Slayer about to be born into the world.
Salud.
And her sister, and her sister
wish it
Sarah.
was a Shebeen. But go ahead, continue.
her sister Sarah, giving her all the support. She's cool as fuck. She was there making sure my wine cup was filled to the top every time I was cooking. And shout out to Austin Chandler's woman, as well as Ross Bigger was there with his lady. Shout out to them as well. It's it was just a really good time, man. Really good time.
I think the best thing is I always step back and I would look and I'd be like, not even that all of us are all there as friends, but we're all there as these young, 30-year-old kids pretty much that are just going out and hunting and having the same exact, drive and wanting to be in the outdoor industry and good hunters, that we're all together, the next generation of the tradition that we were all born and raised on, and just see these kids or guys just growing into the industry. And it's just so cool to see that all of us had the same drive and the same, we all have the same dreams, and it's just cool to have a young generation all together like that.
I ain't 30 yet.
Me neither.
But one of the coolest parts, though, is it's all hunters gathered together.
Yeah.
And I'd say probably 85% of conversation wasn't even involving hunting.
It wasn't. It really wasn't.
You know what I mean? That's how you know it's guys that just connect together and are friends and just good people in general. Because it's not like that was the only thing we could find common grounds into talking or whatever. It was... those West Coast or Midwest boys, it was, just like we're all boys.
Yeah, I don't think I heard one deer story.
That's a good point.
No, and even on that note, Garrett, I mean, this was the first time you and I have met, and we were we're cuddling in the freaking back seat, sleeping for 10 hours,
we just spent 18 hours fucking asshole to elbow.
But hey, Trev does make a nice pillow.
Oh, yeah, you got off.
I woke up drooling on his tip.
Jesus Christ. Fucking Drew has this attraction to me. Like at your house, he comes into bed, he's in his boxers, he's like, I sleep naked. I said, not here you don't.
Goddamn right I do anywhere.
What I say before we all hit the bed and Garrett's on the couch at his and shout out to you, Garrett, for bringing us into your deer camp, which is a fucking mansion, like a mansion of a deer camp. You know what I mean? That shit is pimp.
It's tiny, but it's just crazy
and
elaborate at the same time.
They built this sick-ass cabin on the side of a cliff. Like, there's rock in the house. It's cool.
It's just, it seems big because it's so many different, mini levels.
There was definitely no building permit.
It follows the rock.
There was no building permit. It was made by a man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what, G? When you come up here for turkey season, I got a deer camp for you to stay in.
Hell yeah, man! And you guys are welcome down anytime. And if you don't take advantage of not only that place, but coming down to jump on the working class boat, the giant fucking mothership snakehead power plant floating boat fishing death machine. That's your fault because you guys got a place to stay and a bow ready for you.
I'll be down for a month straight.
Yeah.
Hey, don't fucking threaten me with a good time, bro.
Yeah. on that note, let Nick know his hat's coming to him.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'll give it to you this weekend.
Nick right now has my truck to pick up the boat, and it's getting all the wiring and everything done and put in right now. So it's the final touches are being buttoned up.
And he's already had it out there fucking around with it, shooting fish, right?
No, not his boat. That boat was actually from the same boat builder, though.
Oh, okay.
Aluma Rider Boats, yeah.
Well, not even
that. Problem child bow fishing.
That's right.
Yeah, and shout out to Nick on that because he shot the first snakehead of 2019 already.
Yep.
Which are fucking delicious, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude, rockfish and flounder and all that shit's good, but there ain't nothing like a snakehead, man. There's something else.
You know, I want to bring it back a bit to the Airbnb because there was something there. Damn, I just lost my train of thought. Fuck. All right, let's continue.
I had to do something with Stevie Mo and alien stories.
No, it was something else, but we could continue, man. We could continue. I definitely lost train of thought right there. I was trying to make a point there, but I definitely forgot it. So
it's like Garrett's stories. Every time I was falling asleep driving, I just asked him for a story. He told me some ridiculous, crazy ass story, and it wake me right the fuck up.
You want to talk about stories? We had to listen to a lecture book.
I loved it.
Oh, that was a fucking good ass book, right?
I love that book, man.
Come on.
No one ever.
Oh! I remember. Before I forget, I'm sorry. Before I forget, man. The party was so live when we cooked up a storm Saturday night, right? And we had everyone at the Airbnb. It was so live and so popping. It wasn't a party, but the feast was so live and so popping that we even had people from the East Coast chiming in, calling me and Trev and trying to chime in. Shout out to Caddy Cowboy.
Yeah.
He does a lot for our show. And
he is the man.
He is the man. And
that truck was the shit.
Hell yeah.
He actually called me when we were podcasting.
Big thanks to him.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And he just keeps on providing support every which way. I mean, he was the first giveaway for ECB Podcast. Thank you, sir. He gave away a Visa MasterCard with our logo on it. I think it was a $100 gift card.
Yeah, $100 gift card.
Yeah.
Damn, we're chipping away at episodes. I don't even remember details.
We're cranking them out, man.
An absolutely awesome dude, Jason, won that.
Yes.
Yes.
Shout out to Jason Datillo. Is that how you say it? I hope
Yeah.
that's how you say it. The avid sportsman.
Yep.
I've known that kid for several years, and he just reminds me of me with his passion and how he wants to do everything before I hit myself in the head too many times or whatever happened and went off the rails. He's just a fucking really good kid, and
he is too.
And he will use that $100 towards something fucking awesome as far as filming in the outdoors. So big thanks to Scranton Motorsport for that. For sure.
Totally talking about Jason again. I mean, he's down in Florida right now catching snook on the fly rod and bass and everything else. I mean, he talk about avid sportsman. He does it 365. I mean, he
such
just kills
a great
it.
dude. And not only is he just passionate and is good, like you're saying, he's good at doing this shit, and he ties all his own flies.
Yep.
For these fish and everything, but he's just a great dude.
Yeah.
So, again, Scranton Motorsport for putting that money up and helping someone like him just shows even more how fucking awesome he is.
And then continuing to provide transportation, because that's what he does best, aside from support, because he's our number one supporter for sure. And he's just the man. So I just
haven't met him in person, but I need to crack a shabeen with him.
Oh, yeah. You know what? If you come up, if you can make it happen.
You mean when?
No, he's already coming.
Oh, all right.
Same week.
First
it's
week.
a matter of when, not if, brother.
I got a bed for you.
You need to make it up here first.
I heard you just sleep naked. I'm not. No,
I sleep naked. I sleep naked with my wife. You can have your own
bed.
Beer camp over a bed and you naked. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, the bed is separate from the house, so you'll be alone.
But, if you can make it here for opening day turkey season, opening day is the April 24th, and I know you probably won't make it for that, but if you do, it'll be a weekend to remember.
Because you're going to be in Ohio that weekend,
well,
right?
Trevor and I were talking about this and I'm trying to beat it into Trevor's head that he can't fucking fill all his tags in the first few days
That's
of the
gonna
season.
be tough, man.
That he's got to save a couple tags for when I get up there to film him killing shit.
Well,
because I'm going to be out in Ohio the weekend of the 27th with my boys from Tattooed in the Wild. D-Rock, you'll get to meet up with some of them as we go to the Ohio Deer and Turkey Expo. But right after that, I am coming to CT to cut down some toms
and film me spearing one with an atlatl?
You fucking right.
Leaded by a Zeus broadhead too. It's going to be
we're
damn near
going-
impossible,
we're
but I'm going to make it
fucking
happen.
300 on CT turkeys.
Fuck yeah.
Like,
Hell
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I think
It's
I'm gonna
gonna
leave
happen.
the first week. I'm gonna leave everything home. I'm just gonna go call, so I have tags for when you show up.
Garrett, I just won't even hunt, and I'll just let you have all my birds, buddy.
Nah, dude, I want to film. Dude, here's one thing I guess no one ever really gets to see is I'm probably better behind the camera than I am in front of it.
Me too.
It's just so rarely that I ever get to film someone else and showcase that. But I mean, I enjoy that just as much as the hunt. And that's why, I'm serious, Trevor and all you guys, like, make sure you do have some tags, because me filming one of you killing a bird will get me just as fucking jacked up as me killing a turkey myself. And I mean that 100%.
Dude, that's
if
the way
I can lay
am.
down
Yeah.
some fucking kick-ass footage of one of you cutting down a tom, fuck yeah, that shit gets me going just as much as killing
I
one.
think there's 3 of us in the squad that are like that, because I'm the same exact way, man. And I went to go through my pictures. I was going to try and start a guide service here in Connecticut, and I went to go through my pictures, and I'm like, motherfucker, I don't have any pictures of me with birds. And it was all my friends that I had called in birds for, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and guided them along, and got to actually take pictures of them. I mean, I had one kid last year that I took out, was a friend of mine, and he killed 2 giant toms. I mean, mature 3-year-old toms, 1 1/8 spurs and 12-inch beards. He shot a double
That's
that day,
awesome.
and it was more exciting for me to be part of that than it was anything else. I mean, it was just,
and that's the same with my buddy Keith in Ohio, who filmed me. I just put that turkey video up. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. My latest YouTube video of shooting a tom in Ohio. But
With
Keith is the
your
same
new
way.
intro?
Say again?
Did you have your new intro on that?
Yeah, I had a little clip
A
of
little
that
glimpse.
on there.
Yeah.
Dude, combination creative, Jordan Johnson,
Yeah.
he fucking kills it. The only reason I haven't put out the full song yet is because I haven't come up with anything worthy of how fucking badass it is.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's so fucking badass. I got to make something killer.
Hell yeah.
To go with it.
And you know what? We can feel the same sentiments, because we're debating if we should use our new intro right now or not, and we're going to wait for the game-changing aspect, because CT episodes are out right now for us, and we're kind of cutting in with this kind of bonus episode that has no time limit right now.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to hear your new track too, and again, Jordan Johnson fucking killed it.
Jesus, right? It's like I just want to play it right now.
Dude, and it was so awesome working with him too, because I do everything myself as far as my editing and everything else. Very rarely do I have someone else even film me it, and that would pretty much only be Keith or Ryan, Tattooed in the Wild Ohio buddies. They're the only other ones that ever film me and shit. So
good thing you met the East Coast boys.
And everything else, it's always just been me. So when I started working with Jordan on creating this song or track, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it was interesting for me and him, I think, because for me, I'm relinquishing control, but it's something that I don't really know how to do. I don't really fuck with music. And for him, I think it was kind of new, because I think most of the time he has someone come to him and just kind of say, this is what I want, but they don't really know what they want, and he surprises them, where I had a good idea in mind of what I was going for, and because I'm very creative as well. So the way we worked together and came together on a collaboration like this, and in not very long, it was almost like what I told, like literally I would say, hey man, I'm thinking about some kind of choppy strings would be cool in this. And he's like, bro, right now I'm chopping up strings. Like It was literally like we were just kind of on the same page with shit. He is a creative fucking monster.
But you are also a whole new breed of a dude.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're not the average fucking guy that's got shit going on. Like you know, we talk every single fucking day, and the shit that you come up with, the ideas you have, you got it together, buddy.
Dude, my mind never stops, and it's like a blessing and a curse for real. And pretty much everything that I'm thinking about constantly has to do with the industry of hunting and fishing and just
anything outdoors,
conservation and killing. Yeah, like me and my one buddy, constantly all we're talking about is how to build a boat to clean up the fucking water. Like, you know, that has nothing to do with hunting. It has to do with the hunting environment,
conservation,
which is all the same thing to me. You know what I mean? Me and Boneyard, we're talking every day about, you know, little things I've come up in ideas for the saddle, or I took the Perch, and every day I've been, you know, throwing the grinder to it in the shop and modifying a few things and this and that. It's, you know, I've been talking to Trevor every day about, you know, starting some different things and bringing new avenues to the podcast. And I just can't stop my mind from going. So bringing it back to the very first thing I said, a team that can take things and help everyone in their own way. It's going to be fucking amazing seeing some of these things coming to fruition.
2019 is going to be a hell of a fucking year.
Hell yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know, we all think of things in a different way. So it's like when I talk to you, it's like, God damn, how did I not think of that? But then it's like we're just brainstorming, going back and forth. It's like, you know, we're just like fueling a fire. We just keep fueling it and fueling it and fueling it. It's fucking awesome.
I got some, you know, big ideas and working on some big things, and I always am. And most of it's under the radar. Like, for instance, I don't want to get into it at all, but what did you guys think about that camo pattern I showed you?
Oh, fucking insane. You could basically be a multi-million-dollar company if you actually sold your shit, but you're like the kind of guy that's just like, hey, I got this idea. You want to take it and run with it? You can have it.
Well, Garrett knows a guy for that, so.
Well, that's what I mean. We're building a team to bring these things to fruition, and everyone has their own parts and their own strengths and their own weaknesses, and where one person may lack a little bit is where the rest of the team helps them.
Yeah.
I mean, I say all the time, as far as a business goes, I have made all the worst business decisions. Like,
me too.
You know, people want to work with me, and I'm like, nah, I just kind of, I don't feel like it. Or, you know what I mean? Or I don't want the restriction, and that's why it's kind of crazy, the things that have come together and where I'm going to take things to the next level without restriction.
So let's cut. I'm really happy you bring that up.
I figured you'd want to get into that.
Yeah, let's do it. You're on a roll, so keep going with that.
Yeah, so, I mean, anybody that follows me knows I have I don't know, I'm trailblazing, fuck a path. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of, I followed the industry lead for a long time, and without being in the Midwest and being East Coast, I was at a super disadvantage of the caliber of animals, to even the exposure, to even the local connections, everything. And I just kind of started doing shit my own way, and that was just how I do it. As if there was no film or anything else. I just always figured if anyone's going to see my shit, it's me putting it on the internet, and I can put whatever I want. And I've kind of always been outcasted a little bit because of the way I do some things and the way maybe I'm portrayed, or even portray myself. I'm not sure. That's for others to judge on if they want. But I'm taking things to the next level with another East Coast boy, Nick Albanese, and I'm going to be filming as the Modern Assassin with Tack Driver TV for the Pursuit channel.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Congrats.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Bro.
I appreciate it, and know it or not, D-Rock definitely knows it, but, even all you guys at East Coast, you had something to do with this, with the, I mean, you guys have hyped me up more than anyone else, and more than I kind of felt like I even deserved at times, but it's even coming back around and opening up a lot of new doors. So, that's why I was more than glad to help all you guys with everything I could while we were out in Iowa and any other time. It's about the strong crew. But yeah, it's going to be really cool to take things up a notch, and let people really see what I can do.
Time to step up your
because
game,
like you
brother.
said, I have a lot of shit, but I kind of, it all remains with me for some reason because I'm too busy capturing more footage to be editing footage a lot of times, and shit like that. So yeah, it's going to be awesome taking it to the next level and see what happens from the next level of exposure, I guess.
No, we can't wait, dude. It'll be awesome. I can't wait to see what the hell you produce.
Hell yeah. So if all you listeners out there are following, I'm sure you're following Working Class Bowhunter as well. You could check out episode 285. That's the debut release of this big news from Garrett Benner, the Modern Assassin. Basically what he's hinting at is he's going to be on TV nationwide. This way, instead of just YouTube, he's going national platform. Although YouTube is definitely highly respected and worldwide, but it's just a different platform where he gets to really focus on his hunts more, and he can have a team working by his side to really edit the film to the point that is, I don't know, what do you want to call it, G? More exposed, I guess?
Yeah, it is. It's a higher level of exposure, and talking with Nick and everything. I mean, D-Rock and all you guys, you met him personally. Nick is a straight up fucking no bullshit dude. That's why he's fucking East Coast. He's just straight up. He's no bullshit. We're all on the same kind of level of shit when we talk, and there's an understanding that that they don't own my footage. So the way I think, and I could be wrong in this, but the way I'm looking at it, and I think things are going to go, is when I harvest a big game animal, it's a pretty intimate thing to me. And people get that misconstrued sometimes because I do have vulgar language, and I may fucking curse and call it a fucker, like fall down fucker or whatever, but a big game animal or whatever, it is a very intimate thing to me. And because of that, I really want to take the time and tell the story as in-depthly as I can to where I try to make the viewer feel like they're almost there along for the hunt with me.
And you do such a stellar job with that. I think that's the first thing I ever told you. Just reaching out to you, even way back then, is that you do such a really good job of putting the viewer right there next to you in the hunt.
I appreciate that because I try to not only do it with story, but
even with the music, though. Even with the music, because
that's what takes me the longest in a video is the music.
You know what? This is why, and I have to interrupt because. Not to speak about myself, but music is huge in my life, and music in any human being is such an emotional roller coaster because, believe it or not, every human being out there is connected to music one way or another. It's
all vibrations, man.
Exactly. And we try to push off the good vibrations.
It's like when I first met you, Garrett, at the Harrisburg show, and the first video you ever showed me, Travis and Woody, was when you were shooting the rays. Your fucking epic video where it's like, dum. It's like you fucking hitting him with the hammer. It's like, that just basically explained who you are. It's like, holy shit, this guy's fucking real.
Hell yeah. So what I was getting at is just with the music alone, it just captivates you and really sets the mood. And And this is how you know that you're not sleeping a lot, G, is because you're putting so much train of thought into it that it takes the longest time, but it shows.
Garrett, do you sleep?
I don't really sleep.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But
I could vouch for that.
It takes me a long time to make a video because, one, I hate listening to myself.
Yeah.
So I can only take so much of listening to myself before I got to take a break from it. But two, I really do feel like all that time and all that editing and everything is respect. To tell the story and for that hunt and that animal to live in infamy.
Well, that's the thing. It's easy. I feel like it'd be easier to edit someone else's film, but when it's your own film,
so
and
do
see yourself killing something,
yes.
I do the same thing. It's like my sister would look at me like, okay, Drew, done is better than perfect. But like, no, fuck that. I got to find the right song. It's got to fucking match with the fucking footage. I need the footage to look like this. It's like, I want it to be me. It's so hard to take yourself and put it through a fucking editing program and make it look like you.
I'm glad you brought that up because that brings us back to the question D-Rock asked me in the first place is, what do I think is going to come of this? Yes, exactly what you were saying. When you're doing it yourself and you knew the story of how it all went down and you're trying to capture that exact story, it takes a lot more. So what I think how this is going to go down is I'm going to give my footage to Tack Driver and their editors. And because they are separate from the story and the hunt, it's probably going to end up more as like a highlight video. And then I will still be able to take that same footage and do what I try to do and bring the whole story and bring the ups and downs and intensity of it or however it went, just no bullshit, raw, real, no bullshit, how it went, and show those same hunts more in depth. So I think what is going to happen is, not to reiterate, but Tack Driver kind of be a highlight reel for the in-depth episode of the story of the hunt and the legacy of that animal that I will then be able to edit and create myself.
Hell yeah.
Well said.
Hell yeah. And we're all looking forward to it, man, because I know that was the most important aspect of you progressing to the next level. So it took some grind and some talking, but I mean, Nick is a real motherfucker and we're on the same level, and he was just really soaking everything in. And then you already had your portfolio down packed, so you made it really easy to make that connection and make that shit happen. So
and that's one of the things going back to, you guys saying I have the craziest fucking stories. That's one of the reasons I don't tell a lot of my hunting stories, because shit happens so fucking crazy that I don't think people would believe me a lot of times. So
that's my life.
That's why I have the video to show. Yeah, this is what happened. I don't like to talk a whole lot about shit. I'll tell you guys the stories and all, but publicly, I like to just let what I do speak for itself.
Amen. Amen to that. So we're going to make a hard transition. Shabby. So I'm going to put Trev on the spot like usual.
Cool. Awesome. Here we go.
So let's transition to the ECB Arrow Giveaway. Ooh. Trev, can you get into depth with that on what's on the table to offer? Make sure you explain to our listeners what is on the table, though.
Trev.
As far as hold on. As far as dollar value, what they're getting is quality. And why we're giving it away as far as the colors. And don't get into depth of how they're going to achieve it, because we're going to post that in social media.
Okay. No, I haven't heard about this, so I want to know how I can enter. You should probably tell that.
You'll find out later. Trev's head is spinning right now.
And anyone can enter, even ourselves. Colors. Even ourselves, because to get this expensive quality giveaway.
Custom.
Yeah, 100% custom. It's something to be said that anyone can enter, and it's going to be difficult to acquire. So tune in. Listen to Trev right now.
So our boy Gary Hall at D&M Custom Arrows at the Mohegan Show came and stopped by the booth to hang out, which his podcast released on Monday, in podcast time would be right now.
Podcast land 2 days ago at 7 p.m.
Right, which is actually now. But so he stopped by and he showed up with a box for a surprise. And I opened the box, and it's a dozen East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, white, green, and blue hex. I want to say they're 320 spine on them. And that's a value, I want to say, you're talking in the 300s.
Retail, it's over $300.
Over $300 for this, with Gary's time and everything like that. It's all custom pinstriped, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So he donated those to do a giveaway. So we have a giveaway that we're going to do. It's not going to be an easy thing. And we're pumped about it, because this is something special that you're not going to be able to get just anywhere. And these are the first ever East Coast Bowhunting Podcast arrows. So
I haven't seen those arrows, but I do follow him, and I have seen his hand cresting and fletching, and it's phenomenal work. So I can only imagine that these things are equally as sick.
Yeah, what he does with feathers is out of this world, man, and it just makes me go trad for that reason. And hand
cresting,
that's all hand. That's not a sticker.
I know. That's what I mean. That's hand crested, and the consistency and the intricacy of it. He's a fucking badass with an arrow build.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And going along with the Hall family, Art Hall passed away, which is the founder of Hall's Archery, which is here in Connecticut, which is just an absolute huge thing.
His grandpops, I think he lived to be 86, was it?
I believe so.
I've been going to that Hall's Archery since I was a little kid.
Yep. That's Bill and Gary's father.
I think we owe him. I think we owe him a moment of silence and then cheers as well. So here we go, a moment of silence, boys. And cheers to Halls.
Cheers
to the Halls.
Amen.
So that was, but yeah, he's definitely, I'm excited. I mean, everybody else should be excited. They're the arrows that I shot last year was the hexes. He did me up a dozen of them. So they're straight shooting fast arrows.
And how much they cost you at cost? Just to put into perspective.
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I really don't know.
Dozen arrows, you're floating right around at cost at a hookup around $200.
Probably, yeah, $250. Yeah. Anyways, right in there. But I mean, so you're talking. It's good money in arrows, no doubt about it. So
as a free giveaway, you're gonna have to work for it. I mean, this isn't it's nothing little. These things are the real deal.
It's not tag free friends share.
and yeah, exactly. So definitely stay tuned in. Trev and I will definitely come up with rules and regulations on how to enter. Actually, it's going to be so difficult to win these that
you might have to send your nudes.
Please do not send them to me.
More than filling your inbox with buck nuts.
Deer nuts. Yeah,
to win this one.
Yeah, but even Trev and I can enter. It's going to be that difficult to win them, but it's going to be worth the while. And whoever wins it, good luck, because they're awesome. And just to piggyback off of that good news is we, as East Coast Bowhunting Podcast and East Coast team, we have our own arrows going to be available as far as getting your arrows built and have our logo on the arrows as well. Straight out of D&M Customs. That will be available to you in the very near future, definitely before deer season, hopefully in the midst of turkey season. But there's no pressure because everything going on. I mean, so many big news going out there. 2019 is the year.
Yep. It's not even the year, but you know what? Whatever happens, happens. But I know that all 5 of us that are going to be together and the friendships that we're going to make and the things that we're going to do this season are going to be just insane. And we're going to start it with turkey season with Garrett coming up. So I'm pumped. 2019 is going to be something to show.
Oh yeah, we're all going to be rocking that ECB logo on our arrows, and I'll pay for them all if I have to.
Oh, you guys hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
That was heartwarming and financially.
Well, yeah, I am sponsoring Wild Edge, ain't I?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So,
what the fuck? Shit.
This was the first year that I've really done my own full arrow build, so it's been cool listening to the deer news with Ryan about your arrow build, because I used Ethics inserts as well. Now, I use the standard size arrow, and I came up with my own wraps and everything. So I had, my full top to bottom self arrow build this year, and it was actually pretty fucking cool to add some blood to them. You know,
well, it's kind of cool to see the development of basically the technology behind archery. You know, you start with aluminum arrows, heavy as hell, then it turns into the lightest possible arrow you can shoot, and then the bows get faster, and then it's back to the heavier arrow. So it's cool to see the evolution of everything and the science behind it.
Well, and now
I just found, while shed hunting, an aluminum arrow with a 2-blade broadhead that was monstrous with the old, 4.5-inch real thin veins on it. And this arrow was shit. I mean, it couldn't have been more than 25 inches. So you remember back in the day, guys used to shoot them big overdraws.
Yeah. I grew up shooting those. Yeah.
So I found this arrow in the woods, old aluminum arrow with this monstrous 2-blade head and them long little fucking flimsy veins on them and real short arrow. And it was cool because I was literally following a deer run. And I stopped in a spot and thought, all right, where would be a good spot to sit? And I looked up at the tree, and I was like, that would probably be a good tree to be in. And then I looked to my left, and there was the arrow, as if it had just fucking ripped through me from that tree.
Damn.
That's cool
and
as
it
fuck.
made me really sit there and think about, I wonder if years ago, if this arrow ripped through a big buck right here, if someone had a success story or a swing and a miss, you know what I mean?
Or it could have been a spike.
It is cool to think about because I felt like I was in a spot. Now, this is public land, but I felt like I was in a spot that not many people venture to. And the only sign I saw was an arrow. Not trash, not tracks, not bullshit, but an arrow like
What do you
that.
mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Oh, D-Rock carrying out a door?
I mean, it wasn't a car door.
Yeah, let's touch on that a little
Only
bit.
the Mexicans going to drag a car door out of the woods with them.
I'm saying, bro. I'm saying. Everyone's posting trash trophies. I just had to do it. It's like, you know me, G. I have to go big. You know,
I'm waiting for you to drag out the truck bed filled with trash.
That's coming, buddy. We're gonna take
he's gonna find a scrap car and he's gonna fill it with shit and drag that shit out.
Hey, listen, we're gonna take my excavator and go for an exploratory mission into the woods and pull out something really big and put it in the trailer.
We're gonna make it happen.
I want to play.
Come on up, buddy.
I'm just saying.
Did you say excavator?
Yeah, we're gonna go on a scrap run in the woods.
I can see it now.
In fucking the dirty.
Behind the controls.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing it.
On that note, shout out to Sean Clarkson because he really likes to set the pace, and I really admire him and respect his opinion, even though he may indulge a bit at times with emotions on social media because old men are set in their ways, and that's not a diss. That's sign of respect. But he definitely he said that I set the gauntlet, put the gauntlet down, and set the pace. And Boneyard was all over it, man. All over it. That he just wants to take the excavator out into the woods, and we're going to make that happen. So this way, no one is going to touch us at all whatsoever.
Oh, yeah,
So
scrap
now,
run.
If I could take one quick step back now for our listeners, we were just talking about the arrow builds and the wraps. Now you guys know why my arrow build has been on hold. We're waiting for these custom wraps with our logo on them before we start releasing my finished product. So that's why you guys now have the official release, why my arrow build has been on hold, 'cause we're waiting for that super special wrap, the finishing product from D&M Custom Arrows.
Dude, when you put that through the heart of an animal and leak it dry, and you see that arrow wrap and those veins that you put on there yourself, and you tune that insert for that broadhead to your fletchings and everything, when you do that all yourself, it's kind of almost like the reward of tying your own fly and catching a fish. It's just it's a different level of gratitude.
Almost is the key word.
Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Ain't nothing to say. Ain't no, fish same as a big game animal,
Well,
I guess.
no, I have to agree because we all fish. All of us. So it's just one of those things. It's just, we're not knocking fishing at all because we love fish. We love to fish and we love to bow fish. But it's just something about the blood out of a big game and the work that it entails, man.
I guess you never chase big bass.
No,
because I'm going to tell you something.
No, you're talking to the wrong dude because you know.
Yeah,
but maybe for the people that don't know.
Even Trev, yes. Catching them big old stripers.
You're
them
talking
fat
50,
fucking
60
cows
pounders.
when they running up is fucking awesome.
Right.
But, dude, is it the same as that big old buck that's hiding in the swamp from you from year to year?
You know something? It's on its own level as far as, like...
It's different.
Right,
yeah.
but where it's cool is that with fishing and hunting, like turkey hunting, like bringing people. Like, dude, when people smile and catch their first 50-pounder, bro, it's one of the craziest fucking things. Like RyanThePornStar, with all these years of us being friends, and he's never been to Block Island with me. And we brought him over there, dude, and hooked him up on a double 50. He caught the first one, then I hooked the second one, handed him the rod, and he reeled it up. And when one was on the deck, he said, "Well, what am I going to do now?" I said, "Turn around. You're going to pick both of them 50s up."
I couldn't pick them up, man. My arms were dead.
I liked that picture. I know exactly the picture you're talking about.
The smile on his face, dude, was just one of the most priceless things I've ever been part of. So, like, chasing those is where I get it. Is just bringing them people and the light and the smile on their face from killing things or even catching monster fish, dude. I had a couple of kids catching their first shark, blue shark. And they were young kids, and the smile, I don't know. That's where I get it. That's what I'm saying. It's one and the same as killing a big game animal. Sorry, I'll land my plane now.
Yeah, no, and shout out to the Ghost Hunter, who we haven't had on yet. The Ghost Hunter and Captain Steve for making that possible that day, man. We thought I had a freaking tuna on there dragging the boat around, and it was a monster. So shout out to you guys as well.
Oh, I've seen Trev's fishing pics. I know he's a fish monster. Yeah, for sure.
He just lays his noodle out and they bite. You know? That's what it is.
No sandworm.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so let's make that transition hard. Straight hard to Boneyard.
Boneyard. What do I got to say?
You know what you got to say. Pick up that perch.
Pick up that
Let's start
perch.
talking
Man,
perch.
the perch.
The wild fish. The wild edge perch.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Gee, what do you guys say, buddy?
We're not talking about yellow perch. We're talking about the wild edge.
The wild
perch.
edge perch. Like I said,
well, shit, we might as well start with what I said about it earlier. We met Big Oss from Ethics Archery at Iowa. I know, D-Rock, maybe you had met him. Of course, the working class boys had met him, but for most of us, first time meeting him. And we got him in a saddle and on a perch.
And yes, big boys fit.
Because if you know Big Hoss, okay, let me just, for the listeners out there,
paint that picture.
A picture in your own mind when you hear the name Big Hoss.
I had no idea how big he was. Like, they were like, "Oh, Big Hoss." Like, "Oh, he's just a big dude." But when he's standing behind, like, I met him, I was like, "Holy fuck, this is a big dude." And he's standing behind the booth going, "Hey, you think I can get in a saddle? You think that would hold me?" I'm like, dude, I would love every second of it. Get up there.
Use watercolors because this is a big dude. So paint that picture.
I don't remember exactly what he said he was. It was somewhere right around 370.
367 pounds.
Okay, 367 pounds. And what do you think he is? Probably like 6'4"?
6'4" and about 420.
Dude, yeah.
6'4" and about 420. Yeah.
He's a big motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
So to get him in that saddle and up on that pole, and he's definitely afraid of heights with reason.
Definitely, yes.
And
gravity is his enemy.
He was sitting there on the perch. And he was even standing on the corner.
Yeah, we said, dude, walk to one side. Walk to that total side. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude, walk to one side.
I hate to tell anyone to fucking pause this shit, but you may want to pause this, look at the Wild Edge Facebook or whatever, and see what the perch is So you know what's going on for the rest of this conversation, because this is a brand new thing to the saddle hunting industry. And if you take a moment just to look at it and familiarize yourself with what you're talking about, it's going to make a lot more sense. And a 367-pound man standing on it is a hell of a lot more impressive.
Right. Actually, let's take that time. Boneyard, why don't you get into depth with that? So let's get into detail with the perch. And go.
All right, so
You want your notes?
yeah, no, I don't need that shit. I got Garrett with me, so we're good.
No. Don't fail safe to Garrett. I want to hear Boneyard.
He's the mastermind. So I've been working on a platform for the step ladder for saddle hunters for years, and my biggest thing was I'm not a platform guy. So in the saddle hunting game, you're either a stander or a sitter, or a leaner or a sitter, whatever you want to call it.
Did you just say shitter?
Yeah, kind of.
Hey, but before we get into depth with that,
we got to give a big shout
Oh
out.
no, I'm working on that. I'm working on that. So
No.
it's coming.
Actually, let the listeners know what you're really known for, the Ring of Death.
Okay.
And then dip into
Yep. So there's platform guys, and then there's a ring of step guy. So as a sitter, there seems to be you're more of a ring of step guys, whether that's my step ladder with multiple steps around the tree as a platform, or you're a guy that uses one platform and kind of stands or more leans away from the tree. So I saw the big need for a platform, even though I wasn't a platform guy, and I tried a bunch of shit, and I racked my brain for a long time trying to figure it out. And then a godsend came to me, and his name is Matt, and he owns Out on a Limb Manufacturing. And he literally, out of the blue, texted me. If you guys don't know Matt, check out Out on a Limb Manufacturing, LLC, on Facebook or Instagram, or his website. The dude's an absolute genius, and he happened to be good friends with Garrett. So Matt reached out to me, and I saw his Podium platform, which is a platform for saddle hunting, and his tree stands. I met him at Harrisburg 2 years ago, the same year I met Garrett. And he basically, out of the blue, a week before the Iowa show, kind of just shot me a message and said, hey, check this out. And all of a sudden, we were FaceTiming and talking for days, and basically for a week straight.
You guys were circle jerking. Come on.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
For a week straight, we were on the phone together, FaceTiming and talking, designing this platform over the phone. And Matt is just an absolute genius. One of those guys that has an idea and can take it and make something happen with it. So he developed what we call the Perch, which is a platform, a detachable platform that attaches to a step, the step ladder step.
The Wild Edge step.
Wild Edge step, and it is absolutely unbelievable. It's 1.25 pounds. It's 15 inches wide by 8 inches to the tree, and it is a game changer. And for me, as not a platform guy, or a guy that wasn't into platforms, this is actually a platform I would use. I'm not just saying that because I would sell it, because I'm selling it. It's a normal platform is kind of like, I saw it as you might as well just be standing on a tree stand, because it's just a big square box that goes on the tree. The shape of it allows you to have a foothold no matter what side of the tree you go around. Right, Garrett? So you can go all the way around the tree, and you can have your foot
platform. It's
almost like a trapezoid is the best way I can describe it.
It's hard to call it a platform even. It's
right.
Almost
it's a bigger step
extension.
Yeah. Where you can go around the other side of the tree.
Anyone familiar with the Wild Edge step, if you just think about a triangle that is about 4 inches wider than the step out each side, and then about 6 inches deeper.
Not even. It's more.
It allows you to push off the corners and side load it and push off the corner to fully wrap around the tree.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like as a saddle hunter, my biggest thing is I want my feet direct my body movement. My feet and my hips are what basically makes my body do what it needs to do to make a shot. So with the step, my biggest thing was I was always a ring of step guy, because I could stick my toe in it, I could stick my heel in it, I had so many different positions for my foot. Now you add this basically step extension, and now you have a bigger step that you can put any position of your foot, whether you can still stick your toe in it, your heel, you can go around the other side of the tree and have a basically flat platform for your foot to stick against the tree on the other side. So it's like, and the grip of it, you're not working with hard right and left angles. You're not working with 90s. You're working with straight 20-degree angles that are all the way around the tree, and it's something that
and it supports
I show.
any weight too.
I give all my credit to Matt for developing this thing, and Garrett and I, we saw it for the first time, and we all immediately started making modifications to it, and Matt was all about it. We went out and bought a grinder at the show to grind down and make different little modifications, and basically this platform has consumed our lives for the last month.
What kind of material is that made out of?
It's made out of aluminum. So you have your steel step, which is just under a pound.
Not just aluminum.
Yeah, it's
The
6061.
Right.
So, I mean, we had... How many people do we have on this platform? So anytime anyone tried on a saddle, the platform, we were selling Arrow Hunter Kestrels at the show. And we had
sold out.
thousands.
Both stood on it. You and I both, and me and Boneyard both, each stood on the far corner of it and bounced at the same time. And then we started bouncing alternatively, trying to get the motherfucker to rock.
Yeah, and then we threw a 300.
All we did was bury it deeper in the tree.
Exactly. So it's the engineering behind it and how it works. I mean, you can take this platform, you can have a step on the tree, slip the platform into it and attach it to the step, or you can put the platform in the step and attach a step to the tree and cam it over and make it even stronger to the tree. I mean, with the amount of leverage you can get with it being farther away from the step, you can cram that motherfucker right to the tree.
And now, Drew, that cams over just like your step does, right?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, because it uses an actual wild edge step. So, as Drew was just saying, you can cam over and lock in your step into place and then pull this, out of your pack or just hanging off your saddle and attach it to a step you already have locked in the tree, or you can have it already attached to a step and then lock it on once you're up there. So it gives you, and you can quickly detach it if you want and move it to the other side or whatever. The versatility of it is pretty, fucking wild for Wild Edge. Not to play on Wild Edge, but it's pretty wild, the versatility of it.
Yeah,
you know what? The only major modification that I can see with it is just quieting down the snap. Is the only
but that's not really. I mean, it's it's kind of like the steps. A lot of people buy the steps and all of a sudden they immediately modify them and they wrap tape around them or they wrap rope around them and they try to quiet it. But my biggest theory is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I mean, you can take a piece of metal and put it against a piece of metal and still be quiet at the same time. But you can wrap it in tape if you want to be more conscious about it and everything. But
there's the good modifications that I see right there, and the hooks where actually where the contact points are.
Right.
Can you describe that a little more?
Yeah. So we've been messing around with a lot of different modifications, and Garrett's been brainstorming a lot with me. And basically, I took we started off with a little female end Velcro in the tips that hit the wrong across the step, and then I took some tape and put it across the side close to the tree. But all in all, my biggest thing is we now have a product where saddle hunting. Gary, you can agree with me with this
is the biggest DIY do it yourself type of hunting or type of anything. Everyone modifies things to their own advantage. And correct me if I'm speaking out of line here with this, Andrew, but because we continue to look at this and continue to get feedback from so many different saddle hunters, this isn't going to be the only version.
No.
This is kind of the first version, and it's I think going to be the most economical because everyone's going to take it and modify shit themselves.
Right.
But Andrew and I are kind of really brainstorming and working on kind of a little bit more of an ultimate piece that has everything you could imagine doing it already done to it. Obviously, it's going to be a little more costly, but if you're not a DIY guy and you want to have, the ultimate, we're still working on that. You're not going to come out with the best of anything on the first run.
Right, and that's the coolest part about saddle hunting.
This is a phenomenal tool.
Yeah.
But like everything, it probably, there is ways it can probably be improved. And, to the guys that are saddle hunters out there and use this, one, it's going to be a game changer for you. And two, if you have something constructive that you think could add to a more ultimate system of hunting, Wild Edge is becoming the full ultimate hunt system, not just Wild Edge steps. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, Boneyard, but what Wild Edge is coming out with is just the ultimate mobile hunting system from the ground safely up into the tree in the kill position and then back on the ground with your animal.
Exactly. Yeah, that's been my goal, is to have the complete package for mobile hunting or just hunting in general. I mean, and you talk about saddle hunting, and it's like a new thing where it's like the innovation, the DIY thing, but really all saddle hunting is kind of bringing hunters back to the roots. So think about back in the day. Like you posted a picture the other day of guys with literally a stick and a string, and they had what were they, turkeys that they killed, and it's like saddle hunting, it's not like a new thing where it's like, oh, DIY is like out of the norm and new. It's basically just hunters going back to their roots of how can I make it better for myself in the way that I want to do it.
The simplicity adds versatility.
Yes.
And most of the time when you think of versatility, you're adding complications and intricacy.
Yep.
And not only do I think this is probably the most effective way, and maybe not in every situation. That's another thing. And I know you've mentioned this before. It's, some people just look at it as it's saddle hunting or tree stand hunting.
Right.
And it's, why is it any different than a blind in a tree stand? There's times when a blind is your ultimate option or maybe the only option.
Right.
There's times when a tree stand is your prime option, your optimal way for that hunt.
But saddle hunting is definitely the most versatile way that you can get every option out there available to you. So this way you can have every option that you can apply to virtually almost every scenario.
Right, and it kind of it brought back, like my biggest point is it brought back kind of the innovation of back in the day, people didn't have a lot of shit. So it's like, how can I use what I have to fucking go out and kill shit? And then they came back, it's like, okay, that worked, but how can I make it better? This is going to make it better. I do this little thing, boom, this is going to make it better. I mean, so now it's like, it's almost like it's new to a lot of people, but at the same time, it's bringing you back to your roots of, I don't have a lot of shit. What do I have around here that can make this better?
So before we get too sidetracked, this is obviously something on every listener's mind right now. What's the price point of not just the Perch, but Boneyard? Can you break down, the steps, possibly a saddle? Because there's 2019 is the year. And Wild Edge Inc. is working on the complete setup. Let's just start with the Perch. Price point on the Perch.
Dude, that's top secret shit.
Come on.
No, it's top secret shit, man.
Come on.
No, we're gonna be in the $1.25 range.
Okay. Very affordable
for the Perch.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
And basically, the Perch is $1.25 pounds. It's 1.24 ounces.
So you're paying a dollar an ounce, right?
Let me add this because I have one in my hand as a technical aspect for those of you that didn't listen to me and go check out the Wild Edge Perch and then come back to this podcast. If you're still listening, I'm going to fill you in that there is no tubing on this.
Right.
Nope.
There is zero tubing. There is zero hollow parts to make noise. The Perch is
it's
cut
strap
and bent out of 6061 aluminum sheet.
Google it.
Yeah, it's complete strap.
Hollow. So please continue. But that is a very important point to this thing. Is it's not hollow tubing anywhere in it. It's not wire mesh. It is actual 6061 aluminum sheet that is punched, cut, and bent.
Yep, and anyone that understands metal or has a mind of construction can see when this thing attaches to the step. I mean, I mean, it's just the structure of it just makes sense. I mean, with the strapping and the way it's built, everything about it,
it's physics. All the physics work together.
No, it's
to
science.
Actually strengthen,
it's science.
It strengthens the hold and the bite of the step itself. Everything.
Right.
Again, Matt from Out on a Limb is an absolutely genius and very innovative guy. From his other platforms and tree stands to his camera arms, everything, and now what he's come up with, this perch for the Wild Edge step. I mean, it's a fucking game changer.
No, it is, and yeah, I owe all the credit to Matt. He is an absolute genius. I talked to the guy. I talked to him more than I think I talked to you.
It's kind of funny, actually. The day you called me, you'll probably remember this. Remember I said I was shed hunting when you called me and said, "What's up with this guy, Matt?" And I said, "Dude, he is an absolute genius, not only engineering but building." I said, and I told you, he is the type of guy where a handshake means what a handshake
And
should.
the second I heard you say that, I said, "Okay, good. I'll talk to you later."
And it's kind
and
of
then I got back on the phone with Matt.
Then is when I found that arrow I was talking about earlier.
No
The
shit.
aluminum arrow. Yeah.
So
and you know
I
what?
am going back to that tree and hanging a fucking perch in it.
Fuck
Someone's
yeah.
going to die
Fuck
from
yeah.
it. All the
Hell yeah.
signs have aligned.
That's
All
what
the
it's
signs have
about,
aligned.
man. That's what it's about.
That's
is
cool.
going back to tradition and bringing back the old fashioned handshake. And I mean, it's just the whole Iowa experience, man. I'm telling you, 2019 is the year, and it derives. The funny part is it derives out of Harrisburg, because that's when East Coast team kind of conjoined and became something.
It's when we first got to meet, and like you said, a handshake means something.
It really does,
man. We
man.
had all talked, we had all conversed, but once we got to sit there and face-to-face shake each other's hand and make that connection, we all knew, going back to the very first thing I said, that this crew was something special.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I remember-
And we don't mean like special, like, special, but special in the sense that we have something to bring to the table, for sure. For sure.
I don't know. After enough shabeams, we could use a few helmets.
Hey.
Riding bulls.
Right?
Oh, man.
Oh.
Y'all know what that
shit.
means. Y'all know what that means. Come on. I'm gonna throw a curveball and start with Ryan the Pornstar.
Ryan the Pornstar here.
Shit.
Ninja tip of the day.
My ninja tip of the day: get your hands on a tree thrasher.
Ooh. You know what? Elaborate on that, because our latter episodes is gonna really touch on that, as well as the what I like to call the hood tree thrasher.
The hood tree thrasher. So I don't want to go into too crazy detail because I want to keep you guys hanging on for those episodes from the Deer Classic. But it's a game changer. So when you're out there, you're grunting, you're rattling, and you get that deer's attention. But then all of a sudden its ears start flicking, but then it keeps doing what it's doing because it may have heard, that grunt. It may have heard that rattle, but then it goes away. So what the tree thrasher does, it allows you to... It allows
Drew,
you
stop
to
touching me.
Yo, Gary, yo, drink that up, son. Drink it.
Oh, he got one of those old Irish IPAs.
Yeah.
So what the tree thrasher
Sorry.
allows you to do, you're good. So what the tree thrasher allows you to do is it allows you to mimic the movement of that deer as well that you're trying to make that noise of. So when you're grunting, that tree thrasher is going to allow you to make the noise of the leaves moving as well from a deer walking or rubbing on a tree or snapping sticks.
You're creeping me out, buddy.
Why am I creeping you out? Why am I creeping you
You're
out?
just so into it. It's kind of like weirding me out.
Game changer, man.
It is a game changer.
It is a game changer.
It's the porn star. He's got on his deer.
I know.
news
If
toy.
anyone else said it, I'd be
Bro.
like tuned in. But Ryan talking about, I'm like, kind of like, what the fuck?
Wait.
I know you're getting a little excited. You got TP in your pants, right?
Where's that Rambling Man sample?
Oh,
This is my ninja tip of the day.
I have it on standby, but he was doing good. He was doing good.
For real. What he's saying is you're painting that full audio picture.
East Coast 15.
Exactly.
When you're grunting and making noises, rattling or whatever, that is one sound. And
Promo
with that
code
tree thrasher, and you
East
sound
Coast
like a deer
15.
on the ground, you're painting the full audio picture to fool that buck.
Exactly, Garrett. Because like I said before, you watch that deer, may hear your grunt, and then it kind of goes back to us doing, because that noise could have been anything.
Tree thrasher.
But in other notes, you could even use that come turkey season. You got a turkey scratching, you're making your calls, your purrs, whatever, but you're also scratching in the leaves.
Now you're on to something.
This is bullshit. I know a guy in northwest Pennsylvania that he fills his deer tags every year by sitting on the ground with a turkey call, and he very lightly just purrs and scratches the leaves. And the deer feel that it is both a safe area because of the turkeys, and they feel that there's food there. And he fills his turkey tags, or his whitetail tags, with a turkey call and scratching the leaves and making natural noise, which is what you're saying the tree scratcher simulates.
Dude, I'm right there with you. It's like, people don't understand, when you're sitting in the woods, how fucking goddamn loud is a squirrel? How loud is a turkey? So when I'm walking to my stand, I don't tiptoe.
Hey,
it's
Drew?
like I'm sitting. What?
Hey, Drew, shut the fuck up. This is my ninja tip of the day.
All right, sorry.
I'm going to stop all you guys.
Yeah, keep going,
Let me
ninja.
finish my ninja tip of the day. So get yourself a tree thrasher. You can use promo code East Coast 15, and now that is my ninja tip of the day.
Sound like a fucking commercial.
Let's fucking move over to Trev. What's your ninja tip of the day, Trev?
Ninja tip of the day is shed hunt where the deer are. Because we hiked today.
Good point.
Because I'll tell you, and as me and Garrett had talked about it today, shed hunting, like scouting and shed hunting is to not show you where to hunt, but where not to hunt. And we learned that today. So get out there and shed hunt where you think the beds and stuff are to get your sheds. I don't know, it's just my ninja tip.
Boneyard.
I dig it. No, for real. I mean, same with trail cameras, to add to your ninja tip. A lot of times a trail camera tells you where not to waste your time at.
Absolutely.
Not where you should be hunting, but, move on from here. It's the same with your scouting and everything. It's not always discovering sign that, this is where I should hunt. You're eliminating places, you know what I mean? So and especially shed hunting, if you don't have a spot where the deer are wintering and the deer are holding at that time, your chances of finding sheds are very unlikely.
Yeah, exactly. And just know the food sources and learn them, and definitely see what different foods or whatever. Obviously, you have to put miles on the ground to find that, but it's not like you definitely want to shed hunt where the deer are, not where they're not.
I'm sorry, I was on a pee-pee break. What was your ninja tip?
Shed hunt where the deer are.
Oh, good one.
But you missed. There was an explanation.
I was thinking the same fucking thing
with it. So now it just seems like a dick.
No, that makes sense. I know what he's talking about.
No, because today we shed hunt. We put probably 5 or 6 miles on.
You told me you guys covered 2 or 3 miles and had not found deer tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, we found fucking deer tracks.
No, but there was a couple. There was 2
area.
properties that we went to. We went to 3 properties today, and one of them just definitely showed that
not to spend the time there. So
Exactly.
it wasn't, you found the opposite of what you were looking for.
Did you keep the sun to your back?
Yeah.
All right.
Of course.
Yeah,
Just making sure.
So you can see that.
We just had a good episode with that.
Yeah.
What
Dana
was it?
Pace.
Episode 37.
Shout out to Dana Pace.
Yeah,
I've never talked to that dude. I've never messaged that dude. I did not even really know that man existed until I heard him on your podcast.
Which podcast is that?
That would be the East Coast Bowhunting podcast with Dana Pace. Dude, that guy is a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
The way he is and involves his kids in the different programs with QDMA and his knowledge and how he is just, I think he's even more addicted to finding antlers on the ground than he is killing a deer.
Oh, without a
with
doubt.
antlers on it.
Dude, Garrett,
and just for real, I think that was one of this podcast's best episodes.
Yeah, when D-Rock was like, we got Dana Pace on, he's going to talk about shed hunting. I'm like, how the fuck exciting could shed hunting be? I learned more from that goddamn episode than any podcast I've ever listened to. Like
And
I was
the
just
thing
so
is
tuned in. It's
what
like
he was talking about shed hunting also applies to hunting.
Yeah.
Because it's deer behavior.
right.
And if you take it in the relative form of the time of year and applying it to what the current
Exactly.
deer behavior is. And another thing, not to completely get off fucking topic, but
Here
one
we
of the
go.
things they were
Yeah, you're
talking
good at
about
that.
is how the scouting for in season and the shed hunting for these wintering grounds
Yeah.
are a lot different, that they don't always correlate.
Well, it's like
I
a lot
guess
of guys are all about, scouting during the summer scouting, summer scouting. It's like,
and this is one thing I want to relate back to is,
And that's what I meant
that
for my ninja tip.
A wintering ground, if it has some of the optimal conditions, like for instance, right now, the deer in their wintering ground, they're going to want to get sunlight, and they're going to want to still have some side cover for a thermal barrier. Now, if that same spot has a heavy tree canopy in the summer, the deer pattern from winter is bed, feed with as little movement as possible, because they don't want to exert energy so they can keep their body temperature warm and just their vital health core
exactly.
up. Now, in the summer, a deer wants to bed and feed and move as little as possible because they don't want to dehydrate or overheat. So you can also, he was, and I'm not saying he was wrong in any means. He is absolutely right in what the deer are doing now in the winter is not the same as what they're doing in the rut and in October and November. But what I'm saying is you can often correlate a lot of the late season bed feed patterns. If you have the optimal bedding conditions still, you can find a lot of that in the early summer or the early season, the late summer. You can still find a lot of those same bedding areas being used because of the security of the bed and the available feed.
Hey, I'm listening, brother, and I'm fucking all about it with you. I'm tuned in. These guys are dicks.
I was doing my ninja tip. You guys,
These guys are fucking dicks. He's telling us shit you guys don't even fucking
Like
know.
I said, I can only hear half of what the fuck's going on in my headset.
They're
so-
playing fucking music. They're making fun of you.
No, we're just
Somebody will learn some shit.
No, that's some really good ninja tip, though. Honestly, dude.
Boneyard. What you got, ninja tip?
We should have just stayed with Garrett. No.
Yeah, Garrett, what do you got again? Give us another ninja tip. Come on.
Rambling, man.
You want to learn about deer? Gut your own deer. Butcher your own deer.
Can you elaborate a bit?
I could do that. Yeah, my biggest thing is I always grew up as the fucking guy that knew how to fucking butcher and fucking how to take care of meat and do all that shit. And a lot of guys would bring deer to me. Then that's what developed me into the skull business with the fucking beetles and shit like Trev and I are in. And my biggest thing is like, you want to know the anatomy of a deer. It's like a lot of guys shoot a deer and they recover the deer and they don't think anything about it. They grab that deer and it's done. Look at your shot. Look at everything that happened. As you're gutting the deer, pull the lungs out, pull the heart out, and pull the liver out. Take a second to actually understand the anatomy of the deer, understand the guts, understand, even if you shot it through the lungs and it was a perfect shot, rip those guts out and look at, okay, where's the kidney? Where's the spleen? Where's the liver?
Look at what your broadhead did.
Exactly. Look at everything about the deer and, kind of like...
Give those parts to the Mexican.
It might sound weird, but as you're pulling it out, do it like slowly and understand like where the diaphragm is and what happens like when you stick your knife in the diaphragm and basically pull everything out and kind of like take a step back. It's kind of like when you shoot a big deer and you shoot it, you run up and you all of a sudden take the recovery pictures and you're all about it and then you don't ever slow down. Just when you're gutting a deer, I don't care if it's a fucking spike, a button buck, or a fucking doe, or a big buck. Understand the anatomy of the deer. And then also, if you take your deer to a butcher every year, at least one deer, just fucking take a step back and butcher it yourself. And understand the anatomy of how muscles work and everything. And
It'll make you a better hunter.
Yeah.
I think that's one of probably the best ninja tips, and you know why? Is because
Hey, this was my ninja tip.
Yeah, no, but I'm gonna tell you how good it is. So,
motherfucker,
Damn, shit just got real for a second.
Shabeens are gonna be flying.
So,
God damn.
Oh my
no, but
God.
this is something Shabeens. So, but I think that it's something that is not taught. You know, a lot of these guys are listening. These newer hunters are listening to podcasts, and they're not actually learning the things that maybe me, Garrett, or Ryan and Andrew, how like we started and we had somebody to
Not
show
the
us.
Mexican?
Well, listen. So
You had YouTube.
yeah, you had YouTube, but that's something that's not talked about. Is
Well,
to
the
take
biggest
that
thing
time
is-
and gut that deer and,
For
and
deer,
learn the
yeah,
anatomy.
for deer.
And like when we were growing up, we had people to show us that. And these newer hunters, they don't have somebody to show them that and slow them down and say, hey, you know, like this is the breakdown of a deer. This is where the heart is. This is where, I mean, we all know where it is, but to actually see it and understand the anatomy in your head is something that's not really talked about.
Well, it's
when it
kind of
comes to newer
relative.
hunters.
It's relative to life. I mean, not growing up, I didn't have a pot to piss in, so it's like, if my fucking truck, if I wanted a truck, I had to make the money to buy a truck. If my truck broke down, I had to find the money to fix it and learn how to fix it. When I killed a deer, I couldn't afford to bring it to a butcher, so I had to learn how to fucking butcher myself. The rule growing up was, you kill it, you have to fucking eat it. So I had to learn to fucking butcher animals myself. So it's like, even if you can afford to do it, just take the time and actually do it yourself. DIY butchering a fucking deer.
Doesn't apply to just a deer. I mean, you
No,
need to know
Yeah.
where the vitals in a turkey are, where the most effective spot.
Yeah, and the
to shoot
best
a
way to
turkey.
do that is to fucking
and
open
perfect
it up.
example, the Sika deer that I often hunt, their vitals are tighter forward and lower.
Yeah.
So if you look at the picture, that was actually pretty cool. I got to feature on DeerCast.
That's because of their esophagus, though, right? The like windpipe channel.
Yes, it comes. You know, being an elk species, they have that big, large esophagus and windpipe for that loud, long bugle / whistle, whatever you want to call
Your
it.
Mexican does his
But-
research.
Yeah. I'm
Can you
kind
give
of
us a
impressed
sound
with
of that?
But
I want to hear it.
say again.
I want to hear what a Sika sounds like. I love when you do that.
Yo, that
So
was
it's a
perfect.
very,
that was perfect.
up and down, just like a bugle, but it's short lunged, and high pitched. But yeah, you know, like Drew was saying, know your anatomy. If you look at the picture, you would think that I shot that Sika very low. When in that, actually, I pinwheeled that thing, perfect X, put a Viper trick directly through the heart, perfect X on it.
Well, that's what it takes to be on Tack Driver. So not to cut you off, G. My ninja tip is trust your Mexican. The only reason I say this.
That's not a ninja.
No, it is a good ninja tip. It is a good ninja
Not
tip.
everybody has their own Mexican.
Oh,
Yeah.
bullshit.
Everyone's got a Mexican.
There's so many Mexicans in the United
What
States.
about white people?
Trying to say everyone doesn't have their own Mexican. We need to bring more in.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to deploy here?
Yeah,
Yes.
what about the wall?
Yeah, what about the wall?
Fucking.
Hey, you
Christ.
think a wall's going to stop us?
I'm
Come on.
turning
Yeah,
his
it's gonna
mic
help.
off. No, just kidding.
This just turned into a fucking liberal
wall is
podcast.
No.
ineffective against-
Are we fucking liberals?
I don't like
No.
liberals.
Come on.
We are not
I'm sorry.
liberals.
All right, so
you
trust
better
your
watch
Mexican.
your fucking
Are we
language.
going to listen to your
Trust your
Mexican and trust
Mexican.
them?
All right,
Yeah,
I
what do we
guess.
got, D-Rock?
Since
Keep
he's
going.
since he's in the room.
Podfather.
The Podfather is speaking.
Okay, speak.
Podfather, continue.
I grant you permission to speak. I'm sorry.
All right. He felt the look, G.
Where
He
did
felt
this
the look.
podcast
He gave me a
felt the
look. I'm gonna fucking slit you in the
I felt
guts.
the look through the phone.
Get shanked.
I'll shank you in the guts, motherfucker.
Oh man.
All right, go.
No. On some for real is trust the people that you may not think know what they're talking about, but just hear them out. And what I mean by that exactly and specifically is you may think or prejudge someone on their knowledge, right? For example, I'm only 2 years into deer hunting, but I was that blank page. So I might bring something different to the deer game or even big game that you may never even thought about. So not me specifically, but I speak for everyone new out there, like a Connor Wakefield, the whitetail
I was
drifter.
going to mention him.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
Being
we,
in the room with him when he was on that podcast in Iowa,
Hey, this is D-Rock's
I know.
Ninja Tip.
No.
Enlightening it.
I'm listening.
up, Trev.
No, go ahead, Trev. I'm
So
listening.
Connor, like even me, not a veteran, but somebody that has some miles on me as far as
And you're
hunting
setting your
goes.
ways.
Right? And listening to Connor even speak and some of the things that came out of his mouth, I'm like, holy fuck, dude, are you kidding me right now? Like,
Well, that's
like,
what I
it's
mean.
Amazing.
That's
It's
what
amazing.
I mean. Is sometimes you need to have that outside perspective because YouTube. You guys mentioned YouTube. That was my game. It's like going into deer hunting. I only had YouTube, podcasting, magazines, books. No one pushed me or guided me into deer hunting. Yet in 2 years, I have how many deer?
Working class.
That's the thing.
Working class for your ass.
You wonder if, guys that grew up hunting their entire lives and they were brainwashed by guys telling them what to do and how to do it, and they grew up in it, you wonder if the difference between that and a guy that just jumps into it at a maturity level of an adult and actually listens and does it
And
on their
applies
own, it's
himself.
like there's a big difference.
Right.
Well,
so you might
I agree. And this
you
is
might
kind-
learn.
this is
Hold on,
kind
Jay.
of-
Hold on, Jay.
Go ahead.
One
Go ahead,
moment.
D-Rock.
I'm sorry, man.
Wow.
Podfather.
Cutting him off.
No. It's not a cutoff.
No, go
it's
for it,
all.
go for
It's
it.
all respect.
Land
It's
your
just
plane.
Yeah.
you might learn a thing or two from someone that does not know as much as you,
Absolutely.
and that could be a T-shirt even. And I don't know Dr. Seuss, but it's true.
Well, basically, just shut the fuck up and listen. You can learn
Correct.
more from listening than fucking talk. So
Like my
just shut the
pop
fuck
said.
up and listen.
So everyone, shut the fuck up and listen to that person that you may not think knows that much.
Yeah.
That's the best ninja tip I could put out there, only because you might learn something.
That's something
I
that
dig it.
my pops would always say to me is that you were given two ears and one mouth for one reason, so you can listen twice as much as you talk.
Yep.
And that's
Amen.
that's something that I've always done myself. Is I don't really care at what level you are. You're an outdoorsman. You're a sportsman. I want to hear what you have to say, and I'm going to listen to you because I can use that to my advantage.
Amen. And I'm going to piggyback off of that because you and I had a talk earlier because 2019 is the year, right? And like I said, I consider me the head coach to put all my peers and friends in front of me because I want them to succeed first. Connor Wakefield, you hear me out right now. Trevor and I talked about this specifically. I know you're trying to find yourself right now, and I think you're heading in the right direction. Target new hunters. Put out those films for the new hunter. Humble yourself even more than you are. Bring yourself down to their level. You had a successful year. Bring yourself down to a beginner level and start exploiting the beginner videos. Show yourself reading something in a book. Try it. Fail at it. And apply your tactics to it. So this way you show that sometimes your tactics are better than out of a book. So if you're hearing me out right now, whitetail drifter, head in that direction, and I think that's your niche. I may be wrong.
I would agree with you, and I'm by no means a new hunter, but no bullshit. And I even told Connor this. He put a fire under my ass too, to go out and exploit the public land access that I have, and go out and just put the fucking miles in. Whether I'm pressuring deer and just learning, go out and I can't tell you how many new grounds I opened myself up to this year, and I feel silly for not taking advantage of before. And I really do have to attribute some of that to Connor and listening to him just going out completely blind. And going out blind to these places and figuring shit out. And in a way, it almost brought me back to the level of a new hunter going to these new places and everything.
I agree with you so
Connor's
much.
a badass.
That's the thing. I don't care how experienced of a hunter you are. I cut you off. I'm sorry. I love you.
That's okay, but I was just going to say is that Connor did the same thing for me also, Garrett.
Cut me
as
off.
far as I don't care. So as far as that he also did the same thing for me. Is like he just, I don't know, we Snapchat back and forth, and he just, the drive that he has just fills a drive in me to go to those new public land spots, because him just traveling around and shit is just the coolest thing in the world, and it just inspires me and just boosts my morality to go out and shed hunt.
Well,
Dude,
if you're stuck,
it's insane.
I'm cutting you off.
No. His drive.
Father.
No. Real quick, is his drive is almost to the point. It's like, damn, dude, give the outdoors a break. But you know what? That's the drive we all need.
Damn.
Boneyard, go.
You know what? And,
Whoa.
and not to take it to a personal level, but I don't know what was going on in his life and everything, but you can tell that he has dove into this with such a passion that it's changed his life.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Every one of us talking here, the outdoors has changed our life. Whether it was from a young age and it was always just part of our life, or whether it came along later.
It made us who we are.
Nature like this is life changing.
Yeah, exactly. It made us who we are.
Boneyard, what you got, man?
I was just saying, for the guys that are stuck hunting the same private land pieces or the same pieces of property in general, the reason to exploit and to explore public land is kind of like it brings back an adventure side of hunting. So it's instead of hunting the same spot all the time, it's going out and finding new adventure, whether you're accessing by kayak or boat, or you go into a new place. It basically brings hunting back to a simplistic mind. So all of a sudden, you're not hunting the same property you've been hunting that your father showed you how to hunt your whole life. You're going back to the basics and trying to figure it out from the ground up.
It brings back the unknown.
Exactly. And the woodsmanship.
Which is a major draw to the outdoors is the unknown. Like, what's over that next ridge?
Yep.
What's around that next bend?
Yeah. So if you hunt 20 acres your whole life, go out and find a public land piece that's a couple thousand acres, dive into it, and try to figure it out. That'll make you a better hunter than hunting the same exact little piece of woods.
Amen. And all this positivity, we need to dip into that realm of Boneyard. What rattles your antlers, Boneyard?
Put on the spot.
Yep.
Is that what rattles your antlers?
Yeah, put on the spot.
I'm going to keep rattling until you go, bud.
All right, stop.
You got something?
All right, no, yeah. What rattles my antlers is, motherfucker, I'd say guys that listen too much to the information that is out. Granted, we're blessed with the wealth of knowledge that you can learn online. But my biggest, what rattles your antlers is guys that focus too much on what they read, and they don't actually go out and do it themselves. So take what you read, definitely absorb it, understand it, and understand different points of view, different perspectives. There's perspective and there's perception. So go out there and just basically figure it out yourself and roll with it. Do what's best for you.
I like that. I like that negative into positive. Damn.
That was kind of negative.
No, but I'll give you a hug after that.
Yeah, so don't listen to every... yeah, we can hug. Yeah, so don't listen to listen to everyone, absorb it, but at the same time, don't take it to heart. Figure it out yourself. Fucking man up, go out and explore the woods yourself and figure out what works for you.
Change that Kotex and apply yourself.
Yes.
That goes for every gender.
Vagisil works.
Minus that 7. Trevor, go.
Rattles my antlers. I'm going to go with, I don't know.
Do I need to rattle again?
You do know.
No, I do know. Rattles my antlers.
Rattle him.
No, what rattles my antlers is just putting all these miles on and coming up with no damn sheds and this damn snow.
We live in Connecticut.
Killing our shed hunting season, dude. It really sucks. I mean, 15 inches of fucking snow. It's driving me nuts. I want it gone so we can be killing gobblers and finding sheds then.
Word. Ryan, what you got?
Word.
I can't ramble tonight.
Hey, but Trev, what really rattles our antlers was trying to get that shed buck antlers onto that fucking skull.
I agree.
That rattled my antlers.
Not to interject, but holy shit, Trev. I looked at all the progression pics you had of that caribou. That fucking caribou from like 1920, dilapidated motherfucker that someone brought to you.
Awesome.
The way you revive that thing is fucking craftsmanship, dude.
Dude, Trev,
that was impressive.
A guy brought me a fucking deer. He shot it in muzzleloader season. When he shot it, a fucking nice big 120-inch 8-point. One antler dropped off. He walked up to it, grabbed the other antler, it fucking pulled off the head. And he brought me the skull, and then I called Trev. I'm like, dude, I told this guy I knew how to fucking mount antlers onto a fucking shed bug. I have no fucking clue how to do it. He's like, oh, we got this, bro. So we worked on it a couple days ago, and he was a fucking godsend to me because I was like, how the fuck?
Dude, not only did he mount the antlers, but he fucking
sculpted
fixed the
bitch.
skull plate and, like, sculpted a skull. Like,
that's what we did to the shed buck,
that was badass.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal.
He fucking, he took that fucking skull and he fucking drilled dowels in it, and he fucking went into my shop, took metal dowels, he fucking put them in, glued them, and then he took the antlers and put them on, then he got the epoxy sculpt, and he sculpted that motherfucker, so now we have to sand it down, and he's like, oh, we got this paint, we're going to paint it, we're going to do this. I'm like, all right, dude, sounds good.
Yeah,
he's a fucking scientist with fucking deer heads.
Yeah, you're on another level with the shit, brother.
Thanks,
I just wanted to let you know that was...
Yeah, he's a freak.
True craftsmanship,
It was some work, I'll tell you, and putting it on. I mean, the plastic skull, that kind of scared me a little bit at first. And
no,
just
it looked
to do
fucking sick.
It was definitely cool. And like you said, man, that shit was from like 1940. And, shout out to Nor'easter, Mark Buzzle, man. He turned me on to a product when bringing back the color and the sheen of antlers. And I went to town on it, man. It was something else. It was definitely... It was a challenge, dude, and I'm really excited. I painted it up today. It's drying, and I ordered the plaque, so that should be in this.
Well, so people don't understand. It's like, they look at a skull and they look at like, oh, that's just fucking crude shit. No, it's fucking art.
Yeah,
fucking anything taxidermy, even down to like European mounts. That's fucking pure art.
And it's like it's an unspoken thing, and it's definitely something in the industry that's like new. Is these skulls and everything like that. And me and Boneyard are going to build an empire.
Yeah, the shit I learned from this guy, he's my fucking bug freak, man. The shit I've learned is like, I've been doing shit the hard way for fucking years.
Thanks,
and Trev comes and he's like, oh, you just got to do it this way. I'm like, God damn, why didn't I fucking think of that?
Yeah, it's cool. All right, let's get on with the rattle your antlers.
Well, that's to piggyback on that, that's the only animal that doesn't have abnormal points, caribou.
Oh yeah, I could tell because when I went to go put the fucking blades on, I'm like, it's not straight, but they have two different. It has like two different paddles. Yeah, the shovels in the front. They're like offset, and I was like, holy fuck,
the
cool.
hardest animal to score,
to measure. I'm sure.
Yeah. The hardest. That was definitely the game changer for me. That I don't know. Let's continue on what rattles your antlers.
Continuing,
Ryan.
What rattles my antlers? This is more, I suppose, not necessarily an outdoorsman one, but more of a life one. Negativity. Okay, so positivity is something you can wake up every day and choose to put a smile on your face. There's no reason to be negative, whether it's life, it's work, it's your home life, it's a podcast life, it's hunting industry. You choose to be negative. If you think negative, then you're going to continue to be that way. That's a mindset. Wake up, put a smile on your face, tell yourself, I'm going to kick today right in the ass, and you're going to keep moving forward. So if you get yourself in that mindset where you have a negative thought, that's how you're going to live your day. Wake up in the morning, tell yourself, I'm getting up, I'm getting out of bed, no matter how tired you are. Get out of bed, have a positive note on it, and keep pushing forward. You put one foot in front of the other, keep stepping and have a positive outlook on your face. Put a smile on and keep going on with your day, because negativity just feeds into everyone. So make it your thought, make it your choice to be positive and get rid of those negative thoughts.
Beliefs are decisions.
That's it.
And that, boys and girls, is how you become a pro porn star.
Amen. Amen. Swing them hips and climb them poles. Yo, G, what you got? What rattles your antlers? What rattles your antlers is like it turned into round of positivity, but we're gonna keep going with it. What rattles your antlers?
My antlers is trying to contact with Drew in the morning. Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus Christ.
You know how hard it is to get.
There. Let me say, Holy fuck!
You know, you know how hard it is to get a fucking kid out of the bed that's a year and a half old and fucking feed him breakfast.
Yes,
get
I
his
do.
fucking shit together for daycare.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, because we deal with your
remember,
1-year-old ass in the morning.
I'm cunty in the morning. Don't
Yeah,
fuck with
right.
me.
You're right.
What rattles my antlers is my local liquor store not having Shebeen.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah,
Whoa!
I mean, I'd really like to have a Shebeen right now with the boys, but it is what it is. We're going to do it. We can change that. No, what rattles my antlers is the bullshit cut down of people, especially it seems to be a lot of times local. For instance, I'm sure you guys as East Coast, you have a lot of guys that you are friends with, acquaintances, whatever, that support you, and then the other half wish for you to straight up fail.
Amen to that.
And the reason is because if you guys fail at what you're doing, it justifies them
not doing it.
Why they could have never done it and didn't do it.
Yep.
And it's the same as what I'm doing. And it's the same with my buddy Nick and building this boat and starting a guide service. That motherfucker spent more days on the water last year than myself and all the other people talking shit combined. Yeah, I taught him a lot. He learned a lot from me and from other people, but he put in more time than all of us to learn shit on his own. And it's really come so evident and apparent when, and me being separate from this and a step back and seeing it, that seeing the people you think may be on your side, it really lets you know who's with you and who's against you when that jealousy comes in. Because jealousy is a fucked up combination of love and hate. That there is something they love about you, so they hate you, or there's something they hate about themselves. And, yeah, that's what rattles my fucking antlers, is people, instead of being grateful for someone else or, you know, proud of someone else's accomplishments, wishing that they would fail to support their own fucking negative bullshit.
They hate us because they ain't us, bro.
They hate us because they ain't us, bro. And I thank you. I love you, G. I love you. You said it well. Very well. And it's something that we deal with on the local level, and it really sucks.
We all do, man. And it's sad. Like I say, it's a sad combination of love and hate, where if these people would apply, you know, I'm a person that I try to promote much more of what I love than I ever spend time condemning what I hate. And if you are condemning what you hate or talking shit on what you hate more than you are promoting or experiencing and encouraging things you love, you're on a fucked up wrong path, and you need to listen to Ryan the Pornstar's fucking rattle your antlers about negativity and start living that shit positive.
That was deep, bro.
I love it, dude.
That was like balls
That was
deep.
deep, yeah.
And I'm not even Shebeen deep. I'm just
Like,
fucking,
G,
yeah,
he
like
could have his own
but
fucking
yeah.
talk show host. Like, that was fucking deep. Ryan's like dying over
Porn
there.
stars on
Well, D-Rock saying balls deep over.
Shit was balls deep. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
D-Rock,
That's what
what's your
rattles my
rattle?
antlers,
What
fellas.
rattles D-Rock's antlers? That's what I want to know.
Podfather,
You know
what
what?
you got?
Let's hear it.
You know, everyone out there knows it takes a lot to rattle my antlers. All Iowa Deer Classic you heard is, oh, he don't get mad. He don't get mad. People don't know what goes on in my head.
We're scared to see you, man.
We hear some of it, like, I'll be like, yo, D-Rock, what's up with that guy, dude? He'll be like, bro, in my mind, I took my shank out and I stabbed that motherfucker in the neck.
But that's the truth, though. That's
In
the
my
truth.
mind.
At least it's in your head, though.
I spend so much time with D-Rock and hanging out with D-Rock that's what goes on his head. You want to know what goes on his head? Just ask me. You can PM me. I will tell you everything that goes on in D-Rock's head.
Slip into his DMs.
But that's the thing. No
That
one
might
will
be the
there's
segment,
too
though.
many clicks and wheels and gears going on there for anyone else to ever see.
Exactly. And you know what? That could be a segment, is like what really goes on in D-Rock's head.
I'm scared.
But
do we have to be here for that?
Please don't make that segment with me.
no.
I don't want to put out that much self-incriminating evidence.
No, we'll be fucking arrested.
But what rattles my antlers, honestly, is the lack of unity. I've been beating a dead horse with that. I've written a piece about it. It's 2019 is the year of unity. Shout out to Mr. Science, White Knuckle Productions. He really laid down the path and really pushed that to be true at the Iowa Deer Classic. Unity was the theme. And it goes deeper than Tree Thrasher and continuing his legacy. Shout out to Todd and his family and his friends. Prayers out to them. It's something to be said that we really need to come together as numbers, not only for family and unity, but conservation. And it's really going to take us little ants on Mother Earth to really make a difference. We don't really see it as numbers declining because it's hard to see it with all the trade shows and stuff, because you go to a trade show, you see all these people coming together. And it's hard to see it only because the trade shows are a lot of fun and it's a lot of like-minded people, whereas we're not educating the non. What I mean by that exactly is we're not educating the person that doesn't go out there and hunt, the person that is anti-hunter. We really need to buckle down as a hunter and represent each other as a human being, not just for the hunt, but to conserve. What I mean by that exactly is just for Mother Earth. If we concentrated, all of us as hunters, and we concentrated on just Mother Earth itself, we would reach so many more people. We don't have to justify why we hunt. Let's justify why we're pro-Mother Earth. And I think that's what's going to be the game changer. And I'll always promote pro-women. They are the key. If we could have more women justifying and really putting out the word for us as a hunter, pro-Mother Earth, I think we'll really change those numbers. And what rattles my antlers, to be specific, is that we're not targeting that specifically.
Amen, brother.
The Podfather has spoken.
Dude, that got deep too.
Dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
For real, bro.
Yeah.
Amen.
I mean,
on that,
you're
man.
spot on. It's we got to take it back to, I mean, like you said, women, children, which is part of us as a humanity, and hunting is a lifestyle of humanity.
Yeah.
No one's going to get it unless we show it. So, I mean,
and that for real. That's why I try to show raw, real, no bullshit.
Yeah, embrace
that's
it.
Why
be real.
I try to show what really goes into it, and not all of it is pretty all the time. Not all of it is easy all the time. Not all of it is fun all the time. But it is rewarding on a level that you cannot experience until you experience it.
And let's end it on a positive note. I mean, you know, it's not going to be pretty all the time. So, for everyone out there, go balls deep. Round of positivity. Boneyard, what you got?
Round of positivity. Get out there and just get shit done. Do you. Make yourself happy. Learn shit. Explore shit. If you're fucking used to doing the same fucking routine during hunting season, try something new. Explore.
Amen. Trev, what you got?
Positivity is just that this United Bow team that is aligned here is just one of the most amazing things, and I'm just really, really looking forward to every single one of everybody on this team to succeed this year and seeing where everybody goes. And, you know, that's my positivity, is just I can't wait to see everything that's going to come out of all the hard work that everybody has put into this. So, there's some positive.
Ryan, what you got?
Round of positivity here for me is we got the whole East Coast crew here right now. You know, we spent close to 40 hours in a damn truck together. And, you know, now we're back. We got all of us here releasing some big stuff today on this show for you guys to hear out. And here we are again together, talking turkey, talking deer, talking perches, talking bow fishing, talking everything. So here we are. We got the crew together, and it's time to make 2019 happen.
G, what you got? Round of positivity.
Vision and focus. We all have our own individual visions. We all have kind of encompassing vision as what we want to see as a crew happen. And, we all have our own individual focus on not only ourselves, but the crew as a whole and each individual in the crew. So, just that vision and focus and adaptability. Where one person lacks, another excels, and that's where one person takes over. And, that adaptability will bring it all the way back to the Wild Edge Perch, new adaptable system. And so keep with East Coast and Wild Edge and
Tack Driver.
To find out, Tack Driver will be coming in the future. But, pay close attention in the future, near future, for what's happening with the Wild Edge Perch.
Amen.
What I bring positive to the table is not to beat a dead horse, but it's unity. Is bring someone out there into the woods, into the outdoors, especially the anti. Try to teach them a thing or two. Hunters, Boneyard. I'm trying to be positive. Stop fucking yawning.
It's past my bedtime.
Jesus fucking Christ,
dude! It's late, man.
What goes on in D-Rock's head?
Pay attention.
Yeah.
All right, I'm balls deep. Ready to go.
I see why he's a bitch in the morning.
What goes on in D-Rock's head as Boneyard yawns is strangling him like Homer Simpson to
But
Simpson.
you're making it pretty. What really goes on in your head, I'd be scared to know.
Nah,
so
but
what was your positive?
All right, yeah.
The positive. Let's bring this back to positivity. Positive.
Go.
So all your liberals and vegans,
you got my attention now.
Anti-hunters and non-hunters, we do love you. We really do. We want you to contribute to conservation. We want you to buy tags away from us hunters. We want you to be involved. So if you don't know enough or you want to know enough, tune into East Coast Bowhunting Podcast or Working Class Bowhunter Podcast. We're out there. We're out there for education. And you know what? You might learn a thing or two, and you might laugh at a couple things. So we're just real people trying to do the real deal.
Or just Google where the fuck meat comes from, and then you'll probably have a better understanding.
And if you don't like meat, we mushroom hunt. But you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? On that positive note, mushrooms are closer to being human beings than they are vegetables. So do your research, do your science.
Amen. Fucking Google it.
And for the hunters out there, when the antis come at you, use the hate to educate. Don't tell them to go choke on a fucking carrot, because all that does is make it seem like hunters are just dumb fucking hillbillies, and that's it. And you use the hate to educate. When they give you some bullshit, use numbers, use facts, educate them as to why we do what we do. Don't make them hate hunters more.
And at the same token, check out our latter or earlier episodes. I mean, we have fun with stuff. Fuck the ice luge. We're doing beer funnels off of moose sheds. I'm like, utilize your surroundings. Have fun. Take a palm leaf and make a beer funnel off a palm leaf.
Where the fuck did that come from?
I'm just saying. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. Conserve. Conservation is key.
I'm lost.
So on that note,
just fucking eat meat.
And if you don't like meat,
eat palm leaves.
Get the fuck out.
No. Positive. If you don't like meat, continue on your veggies. Just conserve. Everyone's on the same team. Pro Mother Earth. On that note, stay stepping.
Stay slaying.